I'm focused. I've been watching for the omens. I've been listening to everything you said. It's been running through my head, locked and loaded. I got the feeling that you know it. Yeah, I've only just begun. I won't stop until it's done, till you're broken. So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the lighter. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. Bigger they are, harder they fall.
We return to the dark of a sky without a sun, but a moon that obfuscates by the surroundings, sundered, blackened towers of a lost elven city or a heaven. The landscape of rippling ground like rippling water begins to ripple again as the sundered tower beneath you begins its descent, along with Cicero, Moki, a werewolf. I have it written down, so at least I remember. And a stag satyr fey thing with ancient markings across its leather armor, all seemingly well cared for. As
range.
the ground beneath you begins to drop, bow, and tilt. You see around you where the openings out of this singular large tower is, you see barely illuminated by the silver light of the moon, there are many other black towers. The ones visibly that you can see, simultaneously sundered. In 8 seconds, each second bringing its own wave of stagnant, sour air that seems to choke the back of your throats as the devastating sound of an ocean, of enormous waves crashing, as some of you run for open space, others fall. The backlash for waiting for Cornell or whatever holds his form to find you waited for him. The backlash of this. Now you are trapped by it. As each of you seem to be scattered among the open area of this top floor, the area around you, around each part of this different side of the room, seems to all be collapsing in one direction. There is a bridge that is slowly falling apart. There is an open portal that Grok flashed through right at the end of the episode. That's gone, and that sound where that room is slanting to is in the direction that that portal symbol is. This all happens in 8 seconds, so what I want from Grok is an athletics check because you're under the rubble, you need to run away from it and escape it. Do this first, we'll do Scree after. Moki, I need you to roll either an acrobatics or a jump check. Athletics would be running to this.
It's not a skill.
Oh.
You mean acrobatics or?
There's no sprint motion. I guess you just do it, right?
What about
Yeah,
climb?
I would say reflex save for Grok.
There is.
Reflex? Oh, even better. You're
Yep.
looking at this. Oh, okay.
I guess I'll do a jump.
It's okay. The DC
That's a 9.
the DC was bad, not good.
Yeah, plus 1 to
Am I just like
double
straight
acrobatics.
jumping, or am I like
The ground is the whole building is bent down. You are now falling in the building.
If I can get like 10 feet of room beforehand, I will.
You can, but this is about you really have to do the fort save will come because you failed.
Fortune for running far.
No, you just have the sprint thing that now I just need to not acknowledge as an athletics check.
Yeah.
And you do make the distance. You actually make the distance. So it's all about the debris above you and if you can escape it fast enough, which you don't have good reflex. So you can't. You can outrun it. You just can't dodge it.
First roll.
Moki, first roll. You are jumping often at angles downwards.
24.
24 is more than enough. Tai Lung is jumping up, falling debris. You're jumping down it. as 8 towers all seem to collapse sideways like dominoes, each falling on their side, but also inwards towards the open area which you can see in front of you. There is one space where there doesn't seem to be an immediate hail of destroyed buildings, but you can see the ground is rippling in large waves. Like the ground itself is somehow a lake bed, a bed that is buffeting and waving, rippling. You make it 50 feet down before make me a acrobatics check. This is the last check I will ask of you all. 10. Okay, so you fall prone, but you don't take any damage because of your last check. But you do land basically sideways. The last bit of debris lets you hit the right angle, but as it tips sideways, your body just turns, rotates, and then falls sideways. You only fell 10 feet. That was the last 10 feet. You sprint jumped 50 feet from up here, down, and then have basically fallen in this general area. There's a lot of debris around you. Luckily, you fell with the debris, unlike Grok, who fell with it. Fell under it. So this is where Grok would be. You didn't make the reflex save, so you'd be about at the edge, regardless because of how quick your speed is. You're coming in from either this angle or this angle. Everything here would be catching you with the debris, so make a fortitude save.
Yeah, make that save, baby.
That's 20.
You say nat 20?
No, that's just 20.
Just 20.
It's a dirty
Very
20.
good.
Just 20.
Bing, 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 bing.
Just
Bing, 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 bing. Just 2 points of damage reduced to 1. As one large, semi-large stone causes the back of your head to bleed slightly. The pain begins to throb through your head. Cicero, the tower falls. You are actually closest to both the portal, the portal that Grok flashed through, that everyone else has come through so far to get to this top tower, but there is a right to your left, a bridge that extends out and appears to be, the bridge is also tilting and beginning to fall at a sideways angle inwards. Imagine every bridge kind of falling like this, on top of each other, domino style, all the way around, the 8 of them.
No.
Acrobatics,
Yeah.
jump. If you want to try and meditate, I'll give you insight.
Acrobatics is jump.
Inside as the tower's falling? Yeah.
Yep.
I will not do that.
I guessed.
I will leap because I'm literally falling to my death right now.
Yes,
I
you
will
are.
attempt to leap and grab something that is. If not, just dive roll for it.
All of the buildings are falling, so it's more about doing what Moki does and using every falling piece of debris to cushion your own fall.
That's not how physics works, but I'm an elf, so of course I will do that.
You have elven boots, man. You are fucking light as a dove.
Ah, that's a 2. Or a 15.
Not light as a dove. You pass. That's retarded because of your +5.
I can't ignore the first 10 feet of falling damage.
Okay, well,
Do Elven Boots give you a static bonus?
Give me a +5 to that.
Makes sense.
okay. So
The math wasn't mapping in my head.
cool. Now, so you did
My legs break and I
acrobatics
fall on the
15.
floor and I'm dead. Well, not dead, but...
No, make a reflex save.
Well, yes.
Fort save. Sorry, fort save.
Oh, that's even far worse. Once again, nat 19 for a 20. Cool. Dirty 20, mate.
You and Grok both take
on
1
ya.
point of damage. As a small piece of debris hits your right shoulder, sends you tumbling into the space. You see Moki has actually just like full body rolled his horse body. Doesn't seem dead, but does seem like he has all the impacts from sustained damage from before. You guys are thrown into the center of what appears to be a large 8-sided octagonal courtyard centered in the center of these 8 massive octagonal-shaped tall elven buildings. The space here may have once looked heavenly, or even with some regards to celestial formalities, elven formalities. Moki, some of this to you looks kind of like some old turf grounds, but much, much older, and because of how dark it is, only small rays of light are coming in from one angle. You're seeing the kind of fragments of sylvan writing and pieces of a language that, as far as you're concerned, is nearly dead, or is dead. Grok, you looked back. Maybe the reason you got tripped up, your reflex was not the best. Out of a burning fire, the kind of red coals of Cornell's demon eye. Maybe it isn't Cornell, but there was something in the former area yelling, and then you killed the hag, and that thing still ran away. But you like barely make it, and you realize basically almost right beside you, but behind you is Cicero. Can you pass me Cicero over there? So you guys all landed pretty much close together. This is the tower you were in. Grok, you noticed that the teleportation portal thinger has large cracked sunders through it because it fell 50 feet from the sky. So you didn't see what happened to the werewolf. He was much further back into the tower. And you did not see what happened to this guy because...
He's fine.
How was the fall?
He's been levitated out of there. What the hell just happened?
Well,
just the water barely rippling, barely anymore. There are still waves of old dust hitting you, choking the back of your throat with black
I
flakes
just
of
came here
snow.
down from Ireland, so
Bro, the towers, all of the towers are falling over. Okay.
The
I
last
guess time to leave.
8 seconds.
yep.
You realize
the point.
as you look around, it is like mountains of debris upwards at an angle. You are basically in a debris coliseum. That is the rounded structure. It's an octagonal space, but from the outside, all of this is massive amounts of black, broken buildings that are structures that are now completely rubbled.
How do we get Moki up?
You pull Moki. I mean, Moki landed on what looks to be the remnant of like a kind of stair / maybe shelf, and it was destroyed. Small bits of wood splintered into the side of Moki's frame, but luckily his massive horse body doesn't seem that it's actually bothered him at all.
Right.
So let's get. This portal is not going to work, is it?
What do you see in front of you? That thing, completely sundered. This thing was in the center of the courtyard, and it has massive black spikes jutting out of what looks just like a well. But a very old, ancient well.
That could be the metal curse or something
Let's
else.
find the stag and the
Free.
Go. I need you to figure out if the portal is still functional.
Actually, that's probably better than me looking
It's
at
got
it.
this on it, doesn't
Monkey, I need you to keep an eye out for
It was to
Cornell.
represent like the dust cloud area. Not yet. No.
Try to move some of the heavier debris, but keep your eye out for Cornell.
Alright, let's see if this body can work.
Okay, I'll help Grok move the debris off the room.
Okay. It's still very dark in this place, but the thing is that all of the structures collapse inwards. So now, right above, let's say the debris layer goes to the height of my DM table here. There is one small stream of light that kind of hits the far edge of that area there. So it's like the moon is risen, but it's still completely shrouding this whole area in darkness because of how much debris is here.
Anyways, remember, do not look at the moon.
Rock, make a, you can use magical devices, you can do engineering, you can
I'll
do
do an
craft,
identify. Actually, spellcraft.
spellcraft.
I was gonna say identify, but I suck at that.
All those things kind of work. Mookie, what do you want to do?
Oh my.
Anyways, that's a 29.
Nat 20.
Oh my.
Okay.
If there's any rubble on top of it, I'll move out of the way, and I can see it's off center. If I can try and move it so it's flat on the ground.
Yeah. You're realizing, like, when it hit, the reason I kind of did this is because a massive chunk of stone went from it impacting to stone on the other side rising up. So it's kind of pincered itself in a tight angle. You would really only need to, like, roll it like this out of the way. But as you try to move it, a lot of rubble starts to roll off of it. That's normal. You're seeing, Grok, you're also noticing that there are tons of cracks in this thing's frame. The actual structure of the, I'm going to call it a massive tablet, because at a small angle for us as humans, it's what it looks like. The frame of this ancient tablet has so many cracks and breaks, yet all of the major interlocking inner rings, the outer areas of that frame look cracked. The inner part all looks perfectly sound. There is one inner ring, none of that. If the functionality of these towers had no impact to its design, then this thing should be totally functional still. You're assuming. But then at the same time, Grok, you're looking at it and thinking maybe to rig it up, it might actually need what it was based on in the height of a tower. Having any tablet on high elevation will naturally, well, kind of like the Feywild, how the higher up you go, the weirder it gets. The higher up this tower was put, it seemed to naturally hold its energy on the ground. It It seems like it needs a generator to jig it up.
That's why I have this generator with me.
That thing is half buried, unless you dragged it out at half speed.
Oh, is engine?
Your engine, if you tried to carry it with you, it would have reduced your speed. Actually, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. We've already said before that this engine was not weighty.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go back, you grab your engine.
Alright.
You're maybe even gonna have to start to pull apart your engine just so you can have whatever wires are needed to tap this tablet. This could take minutes. You're working in unknown territory here.
I'm not gonna have spares, but this is probably gonna take. Guys, it's gonna take me a while.
Close to you, coming from the entrance of what looked like at this point, this was kind of one of the normal entrances of the courtyard. There's so much rubble from this point upwards. You see just like stepping down the rubble, coming in. The lower half, backwards legs. The upper half, humanoid, but a head, like the snout and ears of a stag. This
Just keep your eyes peeled.
fey being comes down, and in a voice... Moki, you don't hear elves talk. It kind of sounds like an elf. And Elion, you definitely catch the kind of elven tonality. Yeah, damn it! This place is not safe for you. There is something here. There is. We are not alone.
I forgot the wall. That was fun.
I do have my own way to leave. I will help you find yours. But we are running out of time.
Wait, what do you mean out of time?
You see it look backwards. It actually looks at the moon, which is over a hill. You can kind of just see the crest, like right here, you can see kind of like the top crest of it. That thing should not be gazing at us. And if it sees us now, this might have all been for nothing.
What are you talking about? Whatever, I don't even want to care about it.
Are you talking about the moon?
I'll speed up a bit.
The moon is real.
Gork goes through his bag, pulls out some cables, and starts.
Did you say that in common, or did you say that?
If he's speaking common, I'll speak same time.
Oh, he doesn't speak no.
It is speaking common. It is the first time you've actually heard it talk, and that's why I said it's like the tonality of it doesn't really make sense in a very snout animal-faced body. He's a furry.
Yeah, a little bit.
He has slight bits of fur or hair on his arms that are covered up by leathers. You see that the antler creature comes down to you, the humanoid, with a really...
Like
it's just
beards.
fey. It comes down, bends to where you stand with the tablet, and says, the scroll I made for you, the one that helps remove the diseases. It is written in a language you may not be able to comprehend unless you have access to older languages. Some of those symbols match the pattern on this tablet here. You can see where the fissure marks split some of the runes in half. They will need to be soldered shut.
Right, I'm glad you're here to speed this up, because this would take hours.
Luckily, it looks to be made of an ancient elven metal. I don't think the metal itself is even... And he begins to kind of like point into areas where he says, I don't think this metal even comes from the material that you come from. Cicero,
Did anyone see where the Carolean went?
you see probably the only thing, and it's near this whole pile of rubble. There's a skull. You see it's a large kind of reptilian dragon-like skull with 6 indents where you can imagine 6 holes for eyes would be. Really disgusting, but right next to that, you actually see something very interesting, because you did roll nice and high. The broken head of a golden arrow tip. Except it's not really broken. It looks like it was pulled out, broken out of this thing. The arrow is broken and lies in 2 parts. But there is a type of small, faint glow to the golden arrow that reminds you of the crown you just picked up. And knowing this location, this...
Cursed arrow, my favorite.
Grok seems to be like working with tools, starting to like crank some size, pull some like bolts out of the side of this machine. You don't know what's happening for him, but
Too complicated.
Cicero is like just in the distance, just like reaching down his body. I mean, he's almost invisible because it's still like black, but
Like over there where his cat mini is. Or...
over here, up until basically the edge of this area is where there is no light. All the way here, there is no light. The light is peering out over right now, just at the far bridge.
I'm look in here. What's in there?
It looks like okay, cool. It looks like it was. You're seeing what the word you have never heard before, and to describe it as a person, these are pylons. What Moki might not really understand, but they function, or at least they seem to look kind of like half-made blades. But at the top, there is a massive green gem faceted to the side that looks like it is actually glowing but not producing light. There is a little glow on the inside of the gem that is barely bright enough just to see. But it seems like glowing with an essence of light or life, like a little faint green spark. You're noticing that some of the other parts of this thing are there are two currently glowing pylons on the center of this pond thing in the center. Two are missing. So you could try to forage debris to see if you...
Am I pulling to reach one of the glowing?
Yeah.
I will
This thing.
just touch it, lay a hand on it.
Okay.
You done?
I gotta send one thing to Melion too, but that's okay. I'll do that later. This, what
Send
you
it to hell, if that's where he is. Dude.
straight up, Melion is in hell. The energy you feel from it
No return.
is not. Doesn't. I don't. Just make a fort save. I'm going to describe to
Make
it
a fort save,
after
sorry.
you succumb to this. Now.
Great. I'm rolling bad. 16.
16 is actually really good.
That's
No,
not
So-
that's
bad.
fucking terrible.
I haven't rolled above
Don't lie
10.
to the man.
So as you see that faint little, this gem is eerily similar to the ones that were trying to get thrown at you, that held that elf.
Oh, it's my bad.
You touch the edge of this shell as you see that little green spark on the inside of this gem, and you grab it, and you start to see your entire arm just like from where you're holding it. There, in darkness, with a little bit of light behind you, there is color to your skin. You see as you grab that, all of a sudden your whole hand is swallowed in shadow,
War curse.
and then your
yes.
arm.
Your
shadow?
other arm.
Do you let go?
I'll gently let go.
It just kind of recedes,
Kind of touch it.
recedes, and then all that's left is your hand is completely black. It's like you have a hand that is just completely
The black's
marred
the
in
same
shadow.
color as my veins or a different color?
It
Different tone.
is a blackness that absorbs light. So yes,
Different.
but no, it's not different. The blackness of your veins was only completely black, being concealed by veins. When it came out of you, it did look like this.
Oh.
But it looked like almost shadow or liquid. But that touched you like
When
shadow.
I touch it, is it slick or does it feel like skin?
It feels like skin on your hand, even though there is shadow there, but you don't like draw it to your other hand. There's nothing like that. It's just when you touch
I'll
it.
walk back over to Grok. Grok, you.
What cancer?
When you open this portal, can you just open it with like a power source or something?
Well, I have a power source right here, so we're pretty good. But have you found another one?
Can you? Do you have a analyze magical item check?
My black hand.
That's spellcraft.
Oh, there's some weird
No, I don't have
green
spellcraft.
gems that have a
No, I
faint
don't.
glow inside them. Touch
Spellcraft is
them,
different from.
Turn,
No, that's the analyze
This.
magical item.
or it could be different for you. I don't know.
One more time, my hand.
Does
That
Not one.
seems
does
dangerous, but
Cicero seem distracted?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do a
Good
charge
one.
attack against him.
Can I do a planar check?
All stealth.
For which? Yes. Oh yeah. Do another stealth check for me, but yeah, and use perception.
Use my 21.
Okay,
Yeah, use your 20. Actually, use your the one you rolled before. Use that.
that's only a 19.
I was gonna say you can roll again for
So
stealth
it's
if you
not
want it to be
sneak
stealthy,
Um,
but you're not.
I'm literally yelling at
Planar check.
Yeah. Murky asked about this black stuff he found in his hand.
Okay.
Still a charge attack.
And
Yeah,
there's
now we
green
roll
light
initiative.
going on.
Let's see.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
So,
I rolled
that's
shit.
not very good. That's only
Got a 12.
Better than me.
It's hard to tell, but the black
Pockets
stuff
make
that's
it back
coming
in, dump it.
from this thing, whatever this is, it's crown that's actually coming from inside the well, coming outwards like kind of a massive metal hand. Not metal. It's just black, colorless metal that is currently not being gazed upon by light. So once the light hits it, you might see something. But Moki's hand mimics that blackness of this raw whatever that's coming out of it.
I think that's a well through another plane. That's my basis assumption. And I think that metal is blocking it, stopping something from leaving it. Let's stay away from it because this is a cursed plane.
Here.
We're gonna get out of here.
So inside this cursed plane, there was something that sealed away.
Yep.
So as you both say that, Cicero, there is a kind of muffled final as you remove 3 large, like basically half closet spaces that are burnt, charred, and basically fallen 50 feet. Scraping wood and dirt rock aside, you see the face of a kind of half-transformed werewolf, like blood smearing the side of his face. He looks much more wounded than you, potentially. How would you like to strike? From above? From unawares position?
You got a 19, right?
From behind the
I
web.
don't notice you until you're 20 feet away.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'll just drop down from above.
Where you are at this point is like here. You're seeing him under here. Oh. Do you want to go here or let's go here?
Yes.
Yes, that's 20 feet away. So at 20 feet, there is still no light on him. So all you see is like red eyes rise above a mound of rock that is just black, obfuscating your distance. You're going to get me out. He's got one hand. You're going to get me out, right?
How buried is he?
His whole lower back half looks either stuck or it just doesn't look like he has the arm. His left arm is not visible. He looks like he definitely needs someone else to help pull him out.
There is a demon 5 feet away. Goodbye.
Do you want to go for decay later?
No, I still want to go for Cicero.
Okay. Okay, so you begin to run.
I'm going to throw a knife at him and then.
Okay, so make an attack. We're not going to initiative just yet. But actually, did you do an attack roll?
I can.
You can if you want to, just for that, like...
Natural 20. So
Solid.
It hits.
that'll be.
Crit confirmed, so you're gonna-
I know. I just.
Let's go, it's going to hit.
Okay, so that's 32.
They're down.
I will immediately. You have plus 12 to hit.
19 to hit.
That is.
Okay.
Okay, yes, so roll that
It's a
damage.
charge attack, so I got a plus 2.
That's
Cicero, where are you running to?
I'm about to be dead, so it doesn't matter.
Nick, it's not an initiative. Where are you moving when he pounces?
Away.
Yes, so where?
Directly away.
Probably towards
Okay.
us.
All of this is difficult terrain unless you make
He's here.
jump.
So I'm going this way.
Yeah,
because
cool.
it's directly
So there is,
away.
that's why I wanted to
26 damage.
I died.
Okay.
I remove your trachea from your neck.
Okay, so you see Melion run towards you, and then you see Melion's head depart from his body as his body falls over. His neck is gone.
You don't see me run towards you. He jumps up and I don't move.
Yeah.
Reacted anyway.
He doesn't get a chance to move. He died to a reaction attack.
Yes. But you do see me because there's a giant demon.
I don't
Well,
know.
it's all in the
Plus
darkness. We
perception.
can't see.
It's
shit.
all in the
Shit,
dark.
you're right.
It's basically all in the dark. The light
No.
is at this point here.
I mean, technically I would see him. Because
You
I
will
have
see in the dark.
vision.
Yep, you can.
But-
But it's still darkness, but
I'm
you can see
kind
it.
of busy.
There's a giant demon jumping
Fixing
onto
this.
debris.
Yeah,
So
it's
there's
probably
a huge
stealth.
cracking noise because the fucking stone is.
You're like, please, you hear, please, no! And then the sound of 3 different body parts falling.
You're right, we should get out of here faster.
Come on, then.
You have a really good head.
What was that sound?
The bow is pulled, and this creature turns around.
Cicero? Cicero, where are you, Cicero?
Guys, I don't know why you're pretending like you can't hear that giant monster.
I'm assuming he's
Jump.
very silent. He's
The
ambush
monster-
Is
hunter.
that how that works?
Silent enough, he rolled a 19 on stealth, so you can both roll stealth check. Oh, sorry,
We only
perception
need that
checks.
passive, or
No, you roll.
Passive
You roll.
time.
You're
Oh,
looking
okay.
for
You
it.
roll every time. This one.
I fail. I don't think I can.
19 is the is what you need.
I'm 8,
Yeah.
16.
So yeah. So none of you. So you don't see him. You did see Melion. Grok only saw Melion's body fall into two pieces. But Grok, you being the only person who could see in the dark, also saw beneath some visage there was glowing molten colors, like hovering 10 feet above where the body fell, and then
Okay.
gone.
Defensive positions. I think Melion's dead.
What? No! Cicero!
Alright, Cicero.
You guys can go to his body, but you see Grok is now plugged in where two cracks are, the two edges of the crack. You then see two small bits of electricity shoot between where there seem to be 3 cracks at 3 major far corners of this large tablet, and one of them has been electrified.
Alright.
You should self-destruct the engine.
Still
I think that would be the best thing to
You know
do
what?
right now.
Now's a good time. I'm gonna start raging.
I'll go after you, Kelly, next.
Okay.
You can't rage, we're not initiative.
Oh yeah, you're right. I can't rage, but not initiative.
That's definitely how it works.
I think that
The moment you start to rage, we can go into initiative. It's how your class is
yeah,
based.
that's right. Fucking ground beef. Nah, never mind. I'll just wait till the last fucking moment.
At this point, exactly, you look back and you smell Melion's blood. Cicero, Melion, you smell the blood of that creature.
That thing.
Your hand is covered in, but you're also seeing black flakes of snow that also give that same darkness to you, but they land on you and they're cold. They're ice cold. This whole place seems to want to cover you in darkness. It doesn't feel real. This whole place hasn't felt real this whole time. Grok, you move on to the next part. I want you to make me an engineering check.
No, spellcraft?
You can do spellcraft, whichever.
Engineering.
Both are the same. Both kind of are working in a little bit different ways.
20.
Nat, what?
Just 20.
Just a 20? Okay. This. Did you use spellcraft before?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
So
unless you want me to use Arcana.
no, you can use spellcraft. I want you to make an.
Really
I
good
need you to make an
grades.
engineering check for the last one,
Okay.
because this will be how you basically break apart your machine to not breaking it apart, but breaking apart some of its wiring so you can feed this battery. So make me an engineering check.
It'll just be using the cables, won't it?
Yeah, that's what engineering is.
Okay.
That's like doing a car.
That's a 26.
How
Fuck
they
You're
grade.
good.
That's
No,
an
there's no
19.
W.
So 3 successful checks.
The O is same.
No, that's all.
That takes the better part of 30 more seconds. So while you are kind of waiting around this creature, Grok, when you get onto the second one, he goes, "It looks like you're getting the gist," and then turns around and
Runs away.
runs
Chad.
up.
That's what I should
Hmm.
know.
You heard. What's your perception? 16.
Yep.
You definitely heard the quietest muffle.
Should save now.
And then it cuts.
Yeah, you can tell what's going on.
It was a sound. It was someone. Maybe the sound was a bit pleading. You basically heard nothing, and it was cut off quick.
That's right. Wasn't it that werewolf creature I dried in here with?
You kidnapped.
You know what I'm going? Look, I think we're getting
This is
taken
so
out
tough.
one by one. We should stick together.
You hear from the direction of that, like, plea, a distant.
Cracking the bone.
Kind of like. Yeah, but just
sucking of
more like
nerve.
a 1-ton elephant single step.
Scurry, get back down here.
The ground ripple.
Alright, Grok will call Scurry down if there's a ground.
Grok calls Scree down, and you see Scree has. Wow, this creature rolled a natural 1 on its stealth. So, despite like
Oh,
a
good.
plus 18, you're still
We
able to
love
see
that.
it.
I'll go after him next.
Cool.
Can you fly?
Can you fly?
Doesn't need to.
Oh, no, you physically need to because it's like.
It's
No,
it's
Right.
flag.
Oh, no, no.
We're talking about
He's,
this.
he's talking about the.
Oh,
Yeah, Scree.
I
Come-
could not care less about Scree.
Scree comes down.
What are you talking about? He's annoying.
As a robotic construct, and there is something dangling around Scree's neck,
got-
like
it's got time
where the
limit.
little helicopter thing is at the top, the propeller. Around it's basically its 8-ball
Whatever
face.
this monster is, we have to leave or kill it. It's already killed Cicero.
It lowers the really fucked up Oni mask right in front of you, Grok.
Put him on.
Why did you take that? Alright, put it in the box.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while to
Uh,
charge up, but
Charge it.
Man, I
You
didn't think my second character was
I'll get
going to
that
come
one.
in so early.
you
Fuck.
grab
It's not the correct
you
level.
grab the stag form, and you see the the mirror that was basically covering it drops, and you see the kind of like thin, frail body of a large, tall, elven man. Looks at you in fear as your one hand clutches it because he had no idea you were coming, and then his body just kind of like vaporizes. Like you either crushed him, or he was not actually here. That happens a fair bit. These spirit thingers, they're a problem. But just at the moment, we can choose to roll initiative now if we want to. We don't have to go into initiative this whole encounter. At the moment, you hear a final for your demon form. This 3 areas of electricity are charged between and around this tablet. This device is electrified. And at this moment,
So mean.
Grok, you're seeing silver light is literally at the edge of the tablet at the far side
Like
of
it's
where
about to
you are.
activate.
Like the moon's it's half
gonna
domed
grab,
right
like,
here. It's half domed.
Can I grab Cicero's corpse?
That'd be really great.
Okay,
If I can try and find
You
it.
don't need my head, just the J's.
do whatever you need now.
His head is in a different place.
Run off!
My J's increased, but
I
they're
will
still...
run off and grab Cicero's corpse.
Okay, so you can grab Cicero's corpse. Make an attack roll on any creature you want to. You can
yeah.
make it on the machine. That was a problem.
No, Grok's on his own.
God's gonna leave on his own.
See ya.
How can I get within 10 feet?
Once he gets here,
Like, where am I at the moment?
I just fucking
you've
hit.
always been back here. You went
I
there.
swing his
you can
body
just
across
come-
my
Yeah,
fucking
I'll
back,
come around
and I put his
from
head in a sack.
behind Grok.
Nice.
So this, oh yeah, you're going to use all of this debris to kind of like shield that. You can get low. Make another stealth check. This is getting into more open area. Grok might be able to see you, but his perception
24.
sucks.
I got 2. He's invisible.
I'm gonna attack Grok.
Oh.
No one's leaving.
No one's leaving. This is the TP game we're gonna need.
No, I said it could happen.
Oh, not great.
It's going to hit.
It's only 21.
That's
It's not a gnat,
That's
thank
really
God.
He's gonna get that 20.
14 damage.
14. I'm still alive.
Holy
You're
fucking
still alive.
shit. Okay.
What's that like?
I told you, if I
So-
don't crit, I don't do much damage.
So, still, he's
basic.
fucked.
Wow.
So describe how you attack him, and now that that's happened and Grok is still alive, the sound that Grok makes instantly alerts Moki that you're there. Basically, get combat started. But so you guys can start to roll initiative. Obviously not Melion, Cicero.
What are you talking about?
But-
Eyeball?
Jake, describe what part of Grok you're ripping out. Your mouth is completely hard and
Is-
carapace like a
Is
dinosaur.
one of
just
your arms currently working on the machine?
at you.
Right now, he's just waiting for it to charge up.
Yeah.
So I guess it's having 2 cables.
Your one hand is definitely on
as
the
you
machine.
sort of like
yeah.
try to put them together. You just see like a large mouth fly sort of in front.
Just take the hand off.
It's like a photo.
Just the
and,
hand.
Like, the next frame just has its,
Yeah.
its entire
Sideways
face.
frame of the demon being like, oh,
Yeah.
Fuck.
oh.
It'll go after whatever hand you don't normally use
It's
to like play the game.
Alright.
So you can still
Non-dominant hand. That's what
Whichever
I'm saying.
hand your conjuration device doesn't
Yeah.
spawn in.
Okay.
What hand are you dominant in?
Grok is the left hand.
Okay, so I would say your
No, he's just like
your
me
right
for
hand, which your left hand is on the engine. You are still Grok powering your engine with your own magic, because it doesn't have enough energy itself to sustain off of. Your right arm. I wouldn't say it's gone. It's now just hanging by skin.
Like he's making you too powerful. You can rip off your limbs without killing you.
I'll be within 5 feet of him.
You'll be within 5 feet. We can now let's.
The initiative, I guess.
That's how you do it.
Oh wait, yeah.
I'm a big boy.
Luckily, if this is
Pretty touch your hand.
Jake, what'd you get?
That's a 12.
barely a flesh wound.
Damn
So
it.
not great.
I got a 15.
Got
Oh
fucking
my
9.
Whoa!
Oh my god.
Oh, by the way, everyone who goes before you after you is flat-footed for the first round.
Oh.
So just Grok. Sorry, just Moki.
I don't have armor. Never mind.
Before or after?
Never mind, Macy's 10.
Moki is
I forgot
got a
about
9.
that.
You are the only
If
first
you,
master.
if you get lower than him for the first round, you're not flat-footed.
forgot.
Until you
Doesn't
take
change
your first
anything.
turn, you're flat-footed.
Sure.
Just means I cannot miss you.
No,
Yeah.
roll
Unless I roll a net
Am
one.
I immune to
a
flat-footed?
5. So this guy goes.
Do you
Yes.
have uncanny dodge? No,
Yes.
I do.
You already
Yeah.
have uncanny dodge?
Barbarians.
Fucking bitch.
They get like level
I
1.
get a level
I get
4.
level 2.
Nice.
Doesn't affect me.
Okay.
Okie doke. So, top of the round is Grok. Your right arm hangs limply by skin and small amounts of muscle,
Right.
sinew that still holds the skin together. There's no pain. There isn't time for it. You're in such a dark space. You barely notice the fact that you're missing. You've ghost syndromed your own arm back into existence, just so you don't focus on it. What do you do?
There you go now. It's been a while.
Been a while.
Don't take this personally.
Take this personally. I don't think he will.
Rock says Gale. So as swift action,
Good old Gale.
roll a reflex save.
Gale.
Same thing that killed you.
That is a 24.
24. You take off damage.
Damn.
Is this electricity damage?
Yeah.
Grok, you can also do a screen
Are
attack.
you resistance now? Ah!
Oh, yeah? 14 halved and then DR.
No, it's not halved. It's what? Like if you're resistance 5, you take 5 damage away.
No,
No,
but
no,
mine's
it's
high.
a
His save
save.
is 6.
Oh yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, sure, totally. He takes
So
full 2.
14 down to
7 up,
7,
and
and,
then
I
whatever.
minus 5.
Okay.
So two light. So you blast this thing, lightning courses over the top of it. Does it look like there's much effect, Jay?
I think you see maybe like some scarring on like the hands, but otherwise it just sort of disperses across the fur.
There's half a second of a molten glow.
Now
before.
I'm defensive casting, which I succeed.
Did you
So
do
now-
you roll?
That wasn't the spell. That Soul Lure was the item. Now it's defensive casting.
Do I get an attack of opportunity because you used an item?
Yeah.
No. That's
That-
not how it works.
Yeah, it is. You use an item.
It's not how it works.
I'll check.
I've looked it up a long time ago. It's just an
Okay.
ability. Doesn't count.
Any ability that's used through an item
Nope.
does have.
Damn.
Items are OP, man.
Using an item may be different from using an ability in an item. You want to be right.
There's a
Is
19 hit.
an attack of opportunity. No.
Touch?
Yes, because I charged.
Okay. Touch attack as well.
You good?
Yeah, that'll hit.
Free. Do you have any ammo?
Not at the moment.
1. Okay, 16 lightning damage. For the second.
So 11.
Oh my god. How do you get left damage?
Okay, what's that?
I wonder.
What the fuck is that?
Alright, so immediately as Grok gets bitten, a lightning discharge bursts from him as his hands ignite lightning and smashes into his face.
Cool. Okay. Did that do?
Yeah, I mean, it hurt.
That was the yeah, okay. Felix, you also have screen, right? You can do that guy.
Yeah, scree.
Fire him off.
Alright, and scree on top will start shooting his missiles.
Yeah.
Does
Good.
a 21 hit.
To AC, yeah.
Let's go, baby! Scree can do something!
Take 1 damage.
Yeah!
There's 1 damage. Whoa.
One, what type?
Alright.
Force, basically.
Force damage.
Force.
Not
Cool.
a thing, but it's
That's why it's OP.
Mm.
It should be Sonic, really, but whatever.
Well, it hits, it does damage. Like,
Yeah,
Good, good.
That's what should be Sonic.
or Sonic, right?
Now
I
it's.
thought you meant Silent.
I think you're dead now.
No, I still have my negative HP to go for.
You do.
Sure.
Uh,
Now I can attack.
is that is your whole turn?
That's all I can do.
It's never diseases turn.
Alright, I'll do a full round action. So that's 3 primary natural weapons.
We love that.
Okay, I'm probably dead then.
First,
Just dodge out of the way.
it's 28 to hit.
You can't miss.
Unless you're rolling that one, that's 16 damage.
Okay, I'm unconscious.
Cool.
But your ability keeps you up.
Yeah.
You're stable. No, staggered. Or
That's a 30 to hit,
That hits.
So that's 3 hits.
5, 6.
No, 2 hits.
and that's 10 damage.
Okay, I'm dead.
You did.
Okay. And then with my third attack,
Do it.
that's a 24. So
Do it. Mutilate the corpse.
you'll see the creature sort of initially as you sort of. How did you cast your spell?
Through his hand, through the I think the destroyed hand, right? It just kind of like you shot it out.
Yeah, as
Lightning.
you sort of. That lightning goes out, you see him just rip your arm off. With his claw, he strikes for your throat, and with his second attack, he grabs the back of your neck and rips your spine out of your body.
Much like Sinsima, there is a head and a spine, and then Moki, as you look back, you found Melion's head and the spine attached to his body. There was no body. You look back at Grok, there is a head. You see it fall, and it just turns to dust. The body,
How
the
did I
head.
rust? What?
We love that.
the head and the
He's got
spine.
disintegration fingers.
Magic.
He has disintegration powers?
Yes, he's got disintegration.
No!
Complete bullshit.
Well, not your head though.
Do you remember when Sinsima died? His body was gone.
No, that was too long ago. I don't remember that.
Okay, episode 6. Don't worry about it.
It's too.
It's 14 episodes.
I've
Right.
just seen this monster kill
You see,
Grok.
like Grok's
So
body
far.
hits the ground. It almost looks like he
Okay.
vaporizes.
No, you hate Grog.
Yes.
No,
You do hate
it-
Grog.
He didn't hate anyone that was helping him live.
He is very rude.
you can't hate someone you've been with for a while.
Don't lie, you do.
No,
hate
I
What are you talking
don't.
about? I hate
Fucking-
You can hate someone in a sibling type of way, which doesn't make
As
sense.
I look at that fucking scene of Grok die, I remember something he said. That this thing has sealing something. So obviously I'm gonna run over here and destroy those 2 crystals
It
sealing
is
the
sealing
thing.
something.
Yeah.
Yes, do it.
I can't kill this thing, but what if the deck can?
Look at the moon.
Okay. You are now in line of the moon.
Yeah. Destroy the 2 crystals. Go in the fucking moon.
But you're not looking at the moon.
I'm
You're
not
going for
looking
the
at it, not
crystals.
yet.
So your back. The moon is here, and your back is turned to the moon. So do what you do.
Fucking-
Make an attack.
Yeah.
You got this.
There's 2 of them, right?
There's 2. There's 2,
Okay.
and they're both on the back side, not facing the moon. So you might actually be okay. I'm joking.
First one, I'll fucking swipe with my blade
I don't have the.
for.
I don't have
that's
the-
a
AC
rage before I do
AC
this.
is 13 for these pylons.
I did.
That was a lot of damage.
I'll,
You did a
roll
lot
it.
of damage.
HP,
I hope he's gonna hit him once and
20
no,
HP,
it doesn't matter.
16 damage.
20 per pylon. So you.
I'm staying for the crystal.
But that's also
Yeah,
like,
that is the pylon.
Yeah. Okay.
The pylon is the
I have
kind
that
of bottom
outside of
frame,
this
and the
wall as
crystal's at the top of the pylon.
yeah,
Fucking, I can't attack it again.
You.
I only have 1 fucking attack.
just my character.
When you have
Yeah, it's
it.
overpowered.
You basically.
Not really.
You effectively shatter the entire top half of the crystal. There's like a chunk of the bottom part of it that remains, but you shattered the entire upper half of that crystal.
No, it's natural armor. It's
Um,
not carapace.
At this point, you are so close, you're seeing the symbol on the side of this pylon is a crescent moon,
I didn't get to attack.
which doesn't make sense to the full moon that's right around you. But you can see at the bottom of that pylon, the way you know it's just not
Oh,
enough
if I
to
attack
destroy it in one go is that there's a little bit of like green flicker in the bottom part of the crystal. You aimed too high up. You got most of the top half of the crystal. The bottom part still has some chunk to it.
Okay, well that was my 1 fucking attack, and I can't do anything else.
Well, it is meta. This thing should have 120 HP at minimum.
Yeah.
Do you see why it didn't need it?
No.
Didn't. It's in its lair.
It's meta knowledge that we know we can kill this thing. Which is based on. That's right, I appreciate it.
That's why I also didn't want it to be initiative, because he can kill you a lot more easily without initiative.
Maybe you can solve everything.
It's just in this place.
He's
Well,
very-
maybe even outside, some regards.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's your turn.
Yeah. Unless you let me fucking, like, I don't know, drink a potion as a reaction, even though it's only standard. I don't know.
Why would you be able to do that?
Did you keep the potion?
The Yeti one and the dinosaur one? Yes.
Good.
Fucking chugged them both at the same time. I know.
I have the Yeti.
You-
What are you talking about?
Oh, well, I think you gave me a Yeti one.
one of
Also,
you-
two.
Okay, you can have it, sure.
Man's just taking every man's.
Well, you can have my corpse. Well, I don't turn it
He's
down.
taking my meal bag
I'm
gold.
pretty sure you gave me a Yeti one. Okay, I'll
Yeah, there's
get
only
rid
one
of that.
Yeti
It'll be
bottle.
dinosaur.
It's a cream-like liquid on the inside, and you are
Sure, I won't have it. I'll just have dino transformation.
Epic.
okay.
Even though
So
the
I
Yeti
will
was
say
like-
that because you don't have the ability to do it this round, you can pull it out, which you didn't have it out at all. I don't know where you were holding it.
I have a belt which is just tied.
Oh,
around
okay,
with
so it was
the-
just on your belt. So yeah, you
Yeah.
pull it off your belt. It's in your hand now.
Maybe
So you've
give
got
it
one
a
great
nice-
weapon and one potion.
Ah,
Whichever one corner goes for, hopefully.
you're right.
Another sec. The moon hits almost 3/4 of the dome. The light encompasses Grok. It gets to about here. It encompasses half.
So it doesn't
Of-
You still have your head.
It is the head.
You are encompassed.
Isn't my head to keep destroyed as well then?
Nope. I've said every time, this is like Sinsima. When you carried the head with you for
I don't know who Sinsimmer is. Is he a were-rat?
That was an alternate.
No, that was an alternate reality.
yes, he was aware where he
I
was
don't- I
in a
remember
where
Sinsima.
What
rat.
was he aware of? Let's be real.
I held his head. and
How are you the smartest person in this
Pretty
group and yet you have the least amount of character knowledge?
I'm the highest in the room.
Because I don't have wisdom. I don't care about other
Yeah,
characters.
Yeah, wisdom-
is knowing
wisdom
you
is-
need to remember things, and intelligence is the ability to. And therefore you don't have to.
You actually can't remember any of his spells.
I can't see anyone, I can't
Fuck is a
remember
spell?
anyone, and I can't find anyone.
So this is just not going to make sense to Monkey.
No.
Luckily, you're kind of hiding yourself.
When I back up,
Did you move to the rest of the way to the other pylon, or did you stay at the one at the edge?
No.
I'll stay at this one.
The one that still seems not fully destroyed. Like, you've destroyed the upper crystal part, there's still the kind of
Yeah.
guard of it all. Okay. You see the moon rises this much. Monkey, you don't look at it,
No.
but from above you, you hear a tremendous ripping and tearing sound. Then there is kind of like a darkness that obfuscates the moon. Like, you're not looking at it, but you're suddenly realizing that there's like not as much light coming from it. Because you're getting shaded in it right now. That tearing and ripping sound does seem to be coming from its direction.
Congratulations.
Monkey, you're not seeing this, but there is something that begins to come from the moon that is dark enough that it begins to kind of shadow it. You're still getting silvery light, it's just not as bright. Something dark above you is gaining mass. As the whiteness seems to get bigger, so does the darkness. You don't look, you hear this sound after the ripping, which sounds kind of like flapping of fabric curtains. You hear almost like 5 different whispers circling in that direction of the light. And it gets closer and slightly louder. They do seem to be whispering, so only in its proximity did you begin to hear that sound. The disease inside of Cornell ever so slightly begins to recede.
Didn't already have done.
Cornell wakes up, and suddenly you can kind of see. There's kind of like a vision in this place with these eyes that aren't yours, and the reflection of multiple other eyes, which your brain can't focus on, just isn't wired that way. You are brought up into attention once your body is hit by the light. You do full swivel, ignoring Grok's head, ignoring the weapon. You basically stand at the edge of the pedestal, looking up at the moon. Light pours out, but only this demon and this Cornell inside have a kind of idea of 5 shadow form wraiths that are all whipping with kind of like a sound of curtains and in a breeze. They slowly lower themselves down, and Moki, right above you, as you go to whack this pylon again, saying that it's kind of coming to a full round, you see above you, because you can look up, you just can't look in that direction of the moon. There are those sounds, those whispers, they culminate above you. Moki. The sounds culminate above you. Above the place of this central courtyard. They form 5 shadows that form together and become one small black vortex. Can you put that on the top of the black shrine? The black... Yes? Perfect.
Whoa.
That is the size of the darkness that's kind of being made. And Moki, you now have one round, but you notice that the demon that tore apart rock is just standing with both of its like quadrupedal, just looking at this vortex. It was looking at the moon, now it's just looking up at the vortex. What do you do? You have a round, you can attack everything that seems to be ignoring you at this exact moment. As a ripping sound happened from an angle your eyes aren't looking at because you were told not to, and then the sound of these ghosts seem to move from that direction above you and then slowly lowering themselves down. It's becoming like a
I'm gonna go to the
vortex
not
sound.
broken at all pylon and hit it.
Do it. 13 AC, 20 HP.
I can
Any
actually
hardness?
one shot this if I get high enough.
No, because it's crystal.
16 to hit. I roll a 10. It's destroyed. Same damage as last time.
60.
Both really fucking a lot.
You've damaged them both, almost to the point where they're both non-functional.
Nice.
Nice job. This round
Fireball
that comes, as the forms drift down in a spiral that becomes a wind of tornadoes, of dark black wind and tornado forming, you see emerging from this vortex what you heard 5 voices. Now you see from the shadows 5 massive black arms that each extend maybe 8 to 9 feet in length, kind of pull themselves out. 5 arms.
You should run away.
Probably.
Nah.
Good idea.
Something that combine these shadowy forms gains mass. Maybe each foot is 10 feet tall and each arm is 9 feet long, completely black, only illuminated by the grey and white moon that is sundered behind you. And as it drifts down, its form is heavily is wearing like robes or cloth for giants, but it's so old and stained. The light that illuminates it makes it look kind of like a sickly cream color. You see moss or fungus growing up and off of its back, like 8 feet tall, like this creature had been still for centuries, and literal pillars of fungus are growing on its monstrous back. See this thing?
This thing.
Spawn out of the wraiths and face the demon that then faces
There's
it.
so many limbs for you to rip off.
Just seems my plan is somewhat working. The thing that was still inside is fighting the demon.
It came down, formed out of this vortex, and yeah, it's basically riding this, still like 20 feet up. Slowly levitating itself down. It says something that you've never heard before. And because now you're awake, the relay of the mind that's inside of you translates it for you so you can understand it, although the words at the beginning of the campaign Meliorn first heard. It means the great evils wake. But from the outside, the visage of or manifestation of a rotting nightmare, and most importantly, its indifference to Moki, gives you a clear... The indifference solidifies a small theory in your mind that you are too small for this place. The words continue, and Moki, you heard, that's what you hear. It said it once. Now it continues to speak in a language with a few more syllables, but it's similar mumble of groaning bark and hiss.
Language I don't know.
Jeez.
It says in a language that I'm now just going to say for Cornell, as it simultaneously you see 5 pillars of red. Cornell, you realize that you kind of saw that same thing right before you blinked out. You don't remember any. You remember right now. That's it. Everything's been blank before this. Now 5 red crowns look down at you and say something. Now your brain is mixed with another thing, like a stewing pot of languages. You're getting the kind of main ingredients, but you maybe think it's cutting things out. You're not entirely sure how your minds are not working together, but working like a parallel line. This thing says, in a dark, horrifying tone, disease. I want to do it in that voice, but I'm going to get my voice destroyed. I won't do it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Disease, my wicked evil. I'm not going to do it for the rest of it, but that's how it starts.
Okay, that's kind of rude. Don't call me weak.
It says, do you not see this is your paradise? The offer I made to you was to guard the heaven that you stole. You broke your promise to the greats, and while you are still the weakest one, you must not disappoint them again. Kind of like how you imagine for Cornell, like Bumblebee, this little bit. The disease inside you won't talk out of fear, but can kind of like mimic the thoughts in your own mind, saying them louder, letting you process these things while it seems to withdraw. The moment it starts to talk, Cornell, I need you to make a will save for me.
Oh yeah, I'm really good at those. I'm great at them, in fact. Natural 20.
You said natural
Yeah,
20?
23. Natural 20.
You needed a 15.
Oh, get fucked.
Like, not so high.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I rolled 3 today. Oh, well, no.
And last game, you rolled 2 as well.
I rolled 2 this one. Basically, like every third roll as this creature is a natural 20. Oh.
Good ability.
Don't know, just a demon.
I'll take it.
You'll take it.
Is Berkey gonna do something?
Do I have it done?
No.
No.
In this, you're listening
Yes.
to the
Let the
grumbling
story
of a
happen.
greater demon.
Let Murky
What's
do
the story?
something. He is the hero. of
And
this
again,
story.
It's about to end. You should run.
This thing is floating 20 feet, so right at the top of those crowns, that's where it's floating above, right? So it's about 30 feet up. Its lack of acknowledgement of you, as I said before, reminds you of how really alone you are now in this place. What do?
You should avenge your friends and no one keeps you dead.
You've already done that.
Both pylons,
Yeah, they're
beacons,
talking to each
remain a tiny speck flicker of light. Now you are illuminated by a silvery light that makes that little speck even harder to see. What do you do?
Hey, this is still glowing.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
you do,
is.
yeah.
It is fully electrified, basically.
Should cause it to blow up.
I'm gonna fucking
Activate self-destruct.
punch with my fist this damaged pylon.
Please don't. It's going to do less damage.
The moment you destroy one of those pillars, you
like a-
feel
With my bare fist.
you feel a subtle yet instilling instinct. Because that's kind of how sometimes your wisdom likes to buffer itself back up, is to tell you that there's danger. The thing is that as you look up, you're not looking at the moon. You look up at this thing, it isn't facing you at all, but the side of its head, where one crown is, that small red glow is visible from your corner of periphery, and that single red glow sight line is enough for you to have a baseline kind of dread, but also a kind of numbing laziness that kind of slowly begins to see, like your body's getting heavy. That's all.
Move over to the other pylon.
Now you're actually behind it, and you feel that kind of that shadow that it was casting on you without even looking at you. It fades a little more, and you're kind of stepping at the edge of that moonlight, where that moon isn't doing anything other than giving you kind of a cold chill from one side of your face. What do you do? Stay there, ready for your next, ready to punch it out. Cool. Yeah, only when that pylon shattered did you feel like it suddenly made you feel like you need to hide or run. You hear above you rumbling. You heard the cracking from the glow of the moon. Now above you there is a rumble. Cornell, with your really ass high roll, that was to decide whether the demon stayed.
Let it stay.
It stays in its form,
Let's go.
but like kind of pressing yourself in like a kind of plastic mask. Your face feels like it doesn't fit the frame. You only have 2 eyes. They're functional, but everything is still kind of this like pulsing red, like constantly gets dark and then pulses in red again. It gets dark, it pulses. The vision here is not the same, but you didn't spontaneously wake yourself up. It recoiled. It said, "While you are the weakest, you must not disappoint them." And after it addresses you, it begins to slowly, from the top, begins to blacken. Like its whole face, there was a hood of dirty rags covering its head, that becomes shadowed. Its face becomes shadowed, only that there are now red crowns, that's it. Its neck, its chest, all becomes layered in darkness, even though it's illuminated by a moon. You hear one more time 2 different phrases in a very dark tone. If you return to the material, you are where you are not welcome. My rebellion will hunt you. They are not happy when provoked from my idleness.
Man. Bit rude.
As Cornell, in a form you're not familiar with, in a body that feels so heavy, you are afraid how much you walk might end in just collapsing. You feel like you're tired, more tired than you should be. You've got strength, but it's not a fountain anymore. This thing has been feeding off of your energy, and you can feel that. An exhaustion. What do you do?
I think I'll start trying to walk to where it was. And then...
5 feet closer, yeah.
Is it gone?
It's like only
Or
its
like
its
fading
lower
away.
half is visible now. It seems to be fading
What
from
is
the
that
top up. Yeah.
I'll try and with whatever strength I have, climb into that.
Yeah, you can climb up. These are massive fangs. It's up. It's here.
And then I will try and just sort of reach for its legs.
Okay. You're gonna do that. You reach for its legs. You reach for a massive, stem connecting to an upper half that's almost completely shadowed. And as you grab it, there is, you touch it, and then the moon flashes in front of your face. Like it's not there, but your whole vision just becomes the moon for a second. You're grabbing it, the moon is shaking, also kind of like a phone's vibrating, except then as it's vibrating, it seems to just perfectly through the center. In your own vision, which would be red, but for some reason this is bright silver, all white, it center splits, rifts apart, and then just keeps kind of like if there was only space, nothing else held it apart, it just starts to float away. But that darkness between is so filled. There's something in you that as you grab onto that leg, you can't imagine a possession of some sort of evil spirit say, please God, don't touch that thing. Yet the feeling you feel inside of yourself is such an animalistic fear that the moment your hand reaches it and touches it, you feel all of your hands snap backwards, your hands bend back, and all of your hands on that break simultaneously. Like this creature broke all of the fingers on your 3-handed claw, just so when it grabbed it, it wouldn't hold on. You've got another arm. If you're just reaching to touch it, that was what it would do. If you're reaching to claw at it, that's a different thing.
So grabbing it, so no.
Grabbing it with one hand, suddenly, something inside of you made sure that you weren't going to hold it.
Then I will do a quick swipe. I'll try not to, plant any of me in it, but try to tear away instead.
Okay, yeah. Good. Make an attack roll for me.
Guys, I'm really good at this. Ooh, that's an 18.
18 to hit. Okay.
Oh, great.
Miss.
Maybe.
37, I see.
Yeah, probably.
Look at this guy. How are you supposed to be having T-bars and fucking wipe at the same time?
Love an AC of 15. You
Yeah.
rip at a massive, unmoving, hulking form. You tear away, and it seems to just the part of its upper half that was blackening. You remove the leg.
Just reverse.
The leg becomes just a black limb. It's not it's corporeal, but it's not flesh. It's just like blackness on blackness being held in the shape of a long calf muscle, basically. But as you ripped it off, the creature didn't seem to be hesitant or holding back in a kind of way where it's like like a fish trying to bite the hand of someone who's feeding it in a pond. In a way that's kind of like the sinking, disgusting feeling in your body, Cornell, as you understand how weak it must feel in comparison to it as well.
Yeah.
And as it disappears, the white light begins to get brighter. But as it's disappearing and this demon is going for it, Loki, you're still here. Did you make the final attack?
I'm gonna do it now. Fucking.
Okay.
No, don't do
It's
it.
still fucking
No.
hurting from the fucking last chance. I'll be smart this time. Butt of my fucking
I'm just a cute little
axe. Just
creature.
stab it in.
You said smarter. Can you get a -5?
You're not good with it.
I hit. You're gonna fall down a giant pit.
There's a crack
My little crystal children.
as you punch the pylon, and the glass and the kind of metal frame snaps, bends, and completely kind of like breaks into a few pieces.
Does like an action replay.
The resounding quiet 1 second after that is followed by a boom, like a boom, a sky boom sound that, again, you were kind of hearing it before like a rumble. This is just one loud sound. You start to see the light of the moon as it is getting brighter. It is illuminating some things that are also floating in the sky, but they're kind of just like hovering in about an 18 part. It's hard to actually count how many there are. Basically, a direct line through the city that you're in, directly above this courtyard, there are glowing sparks high in the sky, about maybe 120 feet up, or at least they look 120 feet up.
Big enough shard from this crystal I destroyed to like throw my eyes and look at the moon. Oh, no.
Yeah. The top half of the crystal you took off before.
Your eyes are here.
You have to cover one eye
Yeah,
realistically.
that's fine.
But yeah.
Let's go. I sort of want to. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll look through this
not here.
glass
He's
of
a
crystal
horse.
and look at the
His eyes are
moon
here.
because I'm curious, but also not insane. Maybe.
Don't look at the moon. That's what they told me.
I told you to not look at the moon.
I'm
There's a quick.
I'm looking
delay,
for
I'm not
a
doing
thing
it.
which is turning my arm black.
Exactly.
You add more cursed energy onto the curse already.
Centaurs actually have horse eyes.
Yeah.
They're just humans with eyes here looking out to the sides.
As you actually turn to look at the moon, you can see there is a small black crack in the center of it.
Going crescent.
It's a moon. It's an egg.
Except that black crack seems to be getting closer. And like, it almost looks like it's reaching out to you, but you're realizing it's like, kind of like gouts.
You should get back on the boat.
Very good.
There is maybe another 8 seconds of this entire scenery before a black layer of liquid seems to like fully engulf, submerge everything around you in a wave, only coming from the direction of the moon. And because you looked at it, you could basically see the blackness of that crack. It looks like it's getting bigger, but it's just
8
getting closer.
seconds, you say.
8
You
seconds.
have a round and a third.
It's like here, like you're looking at a typhoon that's about to come at you, but it's much thinner in your periphery with one eye.
I'm going to hopefully not get attacked and run 40 feet this way. Still carrying fucking Cythera's head.
Okay, yeah, well, the demon was up here, basically gone.
If they're ignoring me, great.
You find Grok's head at the base, like not actually on it, tossed about here.
Grab it!
You're carrying Cicero's.
Do I need an action to shove two cords together?
They were all of that was already done.
Let me tell you about my best
Grok had
friends.
done it, but didn't necessarily trigger it.
I don't know how this works.
You don't.
Oh, I do intelligence checks, right?
Just connect some wires together. You're good.
Yeah, so all of the wires are plugged in at this point. There is... Double check on the check here. I mean, you don't have any handle magical items, magical devices check. So
No, in fact, I have a -2 on that, and I
Yeah.
can't take 10.
Yes. So, all you're getting is that the central what looks like a kind of cylinder, a spherical metal box, which seems to be at the back half of this engine, which is a long cylinder, but a larger kind of jutting box at the end. You see it is not only whirring, but it seems to be glowing with a large amount of intensity. The fact that you basically have no idea how this works, other than you've seen people just walk onto it, you step onto it with heads, nothing happens. You hear this of a sound like a tsunami is coming. The kind of distant...
It's a creature with anything unconnected, or just fucking kick it off the ender.
That's what I'm saying. There's kind of... The only thing that looks like, if you kicked it, you don't know if it'll help or not, the engine. Everything else here looks like it should be untouched.
You see Grok do that before?
I have a green shard of crystal. I'm assuming it's green because those are green.
Yes, that is a green shard of crystal. Yes.
I'm gonna shove it in an opening in the engine.
There is a set of grills that line the front of the engine.
Go in there! Activate! I don't know.
I didn't consider that it could be fueled like coal as well, but that also makes sense for being on a ship.
I mean,
like it can be coal powered.
It's magic. It's
a magic.
Just shoving magic gems in the magic engine.
Destroy.
Why wouldn't you allow for basically both means? It's not your best version of the device, but it needs to be able to take all types of material to keep functioning. It doesn't. I want you to
use magic device.
No.
Knowledge arcana.
No, I want you to brute force check.
Brute force.
Why don't you just strength check?
Strength.
No. Well, let him cook.
Yeah. Hold up.
He's gonna break your machine with the crystal.
It doesn't matter. You're dead.
Oh no, let him cook.
This machine is not.
This is not how it works.
You clearly do, Cat.
Yeah, you clearly do.
This is the best way I could think of
Make an
doing
attack
it.
roll.
Smash the green. It's not an attack.
I'm not
Green rock into
Okay.
machine.
Like a USB.
So you can use your strength check to
Green
open.
rock into machine. Bang.
If it needs to be opened, if there's any openings already.
There is grills at the front of it, which looks like an opening for heat to escape.
Okay.
Meaning that if you shove this crystal in, you would be shoving it into the hottest part of the engine.
If I know that much, then word. Because anything that looks like
He
I'm good
doesn't
in, I'll
know.
do
He
that.
can
If
do
not,
Yeah.
Mine is 7 intelligence.
The only thing that I can tell you is how it feels and what it looks like.
okay, is there any loose cords that aren't connected? Because
All of them have been. Half of this thing looks like it's been.
Grok was holding to when he was about to connect.
Yeah.
No, you already connected.
some.
He
Oh, you
connected.
already connected that? Shit.
The ones they're not connecting by hand, you stab them into the machine in the ground, which is what he did. That's why this whole thing was just an example. What
Okay.
you have to plug is 2 edges of the
Does this
crack.
machine have any buttons, levers, switches?
Here we are.
No.
Just magic.
Just figure it out.
Just stick the crystal in the opening.
It's a
You were
magic
already
engine.
gonna do
You're
it.
very
It's a
likely
magic
going to
engine.
burn/incinerate one of your hands.
Fuck it. And why would this work?
Does Cornell want to kill Murky? This is like already 6
No.
seconds.
It's actually Cornell now, so it's not the monster that was not
You should kill
Cornell.
Marky.
Whatever,
What?
Cornell.
Just
Cornell
finish the team.
turns around
The
and
big
you hear.
monster is
"Ding,
I think Cornell is
Just finish the
fixated
TPK.
on the moon.
Okay, that's fair.
No, he's to kill himself then.
He will. So do you? So
No.
you got it jammed.
Is there a...
So the crystal is halfway in there. The only thing that you're trying to do right now is to chuck a crystal.
Well,
in.
it's the best fucking idea I have.
So now who's attacking?
Okay, I'm gonna follow your direction.
Crystal.
Yeah,
It's
smash the
it's
device.
really about smashing it in because right now there's
Destroy the device.
It needs to be inside.
Why am I rolling only 4s?
It's
You
fine.
can't smash the
When I'm
device.
rolling only 4s.
I have given this armor class also a hardness of 5, but an armor class of 15
Yeah,
Why
no,
does
it
it
doesn't
make it
work.
so low?
You have a weak ass engine. That's pathetic.
because the plates are not supposed to be hit.
It makes no fucking sense. Okay, sure. Fine.
You know
I mean,
what?
to be fair, it's meant to be in the depths of a ship.
It's
where
not supposed to be
damaged.
damaged. The whole point is that it's lightweight. It's easy to move. It would not be
This is
tough.
true. There's no way to move around. It's actually
The whole point of it is that it's either lightweight and it can take damage, which luckily you sustain very little damage taking it off the ship by throwing it off the edge. That was just luck.
It's really
Impact resistant.
This is all your fault.
One half of it is heavily resistant. Yeah.
Because you already damaged it mostly, so now you can break it with his
That's not how. That's
You
how
heat
damage
up a
thing
ship
works.
with-
Felix, you actually
20
did
damage.
record damage as I told you to. So
Yeah, I
there's
did.
somewhere.
And then I healed it with mending because mending's.
You're right. Actually, yes.
Fucking doing that.
Well, at that point, you basically tried to jam crystal into a place where it looked like it was a furnace of sorts. It doesn't look like this machine should have a furnace. It's a generator. Maybe that's how normal human generators work. So there's some elements of it that you've seen in human technology in the place you were at before. You jam between two things, the crystal gets stuck. You attempted to hoof it. You basically just indented one of the bars next to the crystal.
I missed the crystal.
Causing no damage to the structure, just damage to the outer frame. It's not actually sustaining damage. Okay.
2 rounds of blood rage left.
2 rounds of blood rage. You can end your blood rage right now because the wave of black, it reminds you of...
if I do that, I'll become fatigued. I don't think it's a good idea to be hit by that while fatigued.
So, you're hit by a tsunami.
Cool. Do it.
From this direction. It hits you...
You're crushed by literally hundreds of tons of
by...
liquid.
It tastes... Remember how you... Oh, no, you probably
There's
don't
no
know.
taste because your chest is compressed.
Two weeks ago when we played this game, you tasted the kind of the brimming of its water, where it's kind of like... It looked like there was a lot of dark mud or something underneath it. It had a faint layer of water to it. So, the one moment of consciousness, you're like, oh, this is really sweet water. Before
We're back.
we return to the dark.
Oh.
The dark.
I keep doing it. The only person who actually returns is Monkey.
No!
The kind of fading from unconsciousness rises as you realize that you're almost forced upwards. Like you were slammed down, and that was when the darkness took you because you felt like you had been pushed down and then sunken deep below something. Plunged under a liquid. Now you feel yourself with your hooves in a deep, empty, vast space of what seems like water. Your body, your lower legs are able to kind of start building some momentum to try and get somewhere, and you feel yourself break. You were holding the 2 heads of the people.
Yes, for the people I care about.
You now realize that
What about
the,
me?
I don't have your head.
Oh, okay.
the necks that you had gotten, Melion's nearly completely ripped off. You were, Cicero, Melion, you were grabbing his hair to say, because that was probably the only thing you can grab off of him.
Sorry, Melion, in my hand did that. I wanted to your head.
As
It's green
you-
crystal shut.
As you emerge from some sort of liquid, you realize it's black because you're covered in this like thick black oil like liquid. It seems to slowly kind of wash off of you like there's some water mixed in there.
Did it react with my rage at all or no?
You were still technically in rage right as the thing hit you,
I'm
right?
assuming it now I've used all of them.
I would say that was 1 round. You technically have 1 round.
Okay.
I did? Yeah. If you kept it going in that final round, you had 2 before and you used
know what?
1? If you used 1 or you used both.
If that whole wave was just 1, then I have 1 left.
Yeah. Cool.
I'll end it and take 8 rounds of fatigue.
Solid.
So as your body collapses, this
Yeah.
is kind of perfect, you realize that what you were carrying, they are bodies. They are not
What?
spines.
Oh my
They are
god!
heads attached to necks, that are attached to shoulders, that are attached to... There is some gear on their body, but it's not everything they had with them. There is no engine. There is...
Screw that engine.
There is Cicero's... There is Cicero's, like,
You hit the camera, everything gets ruined.
the
for the next 2
thing is just into the wall somewhere.
I'll blow up in a minute.
but from behind you, as you feel that exhaustion, you feel that fatigue, luckily, you don't think they're conscious. They're definitely not moving. They could be dead. Their bodies are whole. Your body's whole. And then behind you, you feel this, like, shale of stone. This kind of eruption from the stone pedestal you were above. And you see, like a beached whale, the entire oversized carapace-like body, layers of plates of bone, a dark brown tinge of red, but very, very grey and kind of yellowish. In the almost like morning, you're realizing it's dark, but to your west is black. And to your east, there are a set of distant mountains that are slowly beginning to glow, obviously with light from far behind them. The mountains, the fauna, everything around you does not remind you of areas north. In fact, the fauna here is surprisingly fey. one particular plant you notice has like beautiful arms that reach and curl and bend, and it sticks out to you because this plant is only found far, far south. And those mountain ridges you're looking to your east, they are the Fangs of Wisdom. The furthest most side, the southernmost side, and you're now realizing maybe even the westernmost side of this land.
The Fangs of Wisdom. Oh.
Area that is crossed on your maps for a good reason.
Why didn't you take this?
Sorry. Totally my fault.
Cornell's demonic upper half appears to be literally like half exploded out of the hole that you came from.
I don't know Orcish, but could I know the tone of this word? Like aggressive, warning.
I kind of love that idea.
Yeah.
So let's go with the
Wisdom?
Linguistics.
Yeah.
Linguistics? I can't do
Linguistics
that
is
on
actually understanding it. If you have insight, I would let you do that. If you have it
sense
better.
motive?
Sense motive, yeah.
This bloody writing was put here aggressively, I think.
Well, that's exactly
22.
half of the answer.
What is it? Aggressive?
The writing is aggressive. Oh no, the writing.
Sorry, it's in blood already. That's definitely
My two
aggressive.
DMs to the side of
But,
me have
like,
both already
Is it
admitted
like
to
a
you
warning
that this
from
is...
the writer, like get the fuck out of here, or is it like danger nearby?
He's trespassing. Dogs up in the yard.
Nick's got it basically right.
Yes,
Oh,
I do, I'm a genius.
no. Okay.
A little... There's only two things to you this could be. This is a no trespassing sign, or this is a sign of protest in the blood of another tribe. Because this whole land is governed by, not that you've ever kept count, many different orc tribes. Some of them are pure orc, most of them aren't. Most of them are mixed in with ogres or humanoids.
Have I been here in my life before, like in this area? I don't think
This
I have.
specific area
No.
doesn't exactly seem, but you're close enough to see the distant mountains of the Fangs of Wisdom, which means you're not far away.
Is that to my east?
They're to your east.
Then I've never been here in my life.
No, they are far enough away that they are black on the horizon line, which means they are very far away from you.
This is a dangerous fucking place.
And
Grok.
just you see there is a kind of maybe a grumble or a groan sound. There's some.
Are you two okay?
I say, Grok, you basically can't do anything your conditions aren't letting you do, but you can look. Just you felt yourself die. That's the difference, and it felt like waking up from a nightmare.
Where are we?
You're sapped, energy-wise. Your HP has not come back.
This plated creature, is it unconscious?
It looks, it's like a beached whale, half exposed out of what looks like a kind of slightly overflowing black lake puddle. It's just a puddle at this point. And its body is basically half out of it. On its side, there is a massive demonic jaw stretched out in a kind of unconscious yet wide open state. You can see so many teeth. None of this looks like Cornell.
Can I look for? Do any of them hold rope I can see? No.
Rope?
Rope. No. No. Fuck.
Rock's gonna start stripping to see if there's any like weird writing on his body or anything.
Okay.
Oh, what? Just
Dying
on the
on-
ground,
dying on the
shitting
floor.
out of your clothes.
Yeah, this is going.
You unbutton your so old and well worn, what is it called, like tourniquet, and then also you had your mechanic's bib, which has been on you for like weeks.
Yep.
It's come with you to the frosted mountains. It's soaked in some black like ooze ichor, and you pull it off you. I mean, these clothes. It's when you're already exhausted and your clothes are stuck to you and they're wet. It makes the process arguably just more arduous, more painful. Your body is aching in all the ways where you feel like the remnants. And as you look out, you see there is something scrawled in Orcish, which you can read, but at this point, you look at yourself. There are. Let me ask a really random, broad question. How often do you derobe and search your own body skin for things? How would you, if this has been here for a while and you didn't notice it, is that possible?
Yes.
Okay. There is a single small sphere. Like a black dot. Kind of looks like, it looks like there is something under your skin that pronounces an indentation in your flesh, meaning it looks like there's kind of like a circular metal disc under your skin, and in the center of that metal disc is a black hole, like an amp plug-in. Thin, small, tiny black hole. You have an aux cord cable in hole. It looks like kind of where your kidney might be, but on the other side.
You're a freak.
What? Okay, did we get kidnapped?
No, I think your portal worked, maybe, or it was somehow you blackness me.
Right. If the portal worked, the energy would be right beside us. We're somewhere different.
We need to leave. That monster is here. It's unconscious, but
Its big jaw is facing in the direction, like Moki is 10 feet away from it, but its jaw is facing, it's over you, but it's on a rocky mound. It's like up and looking.
we need to leave.
I can't move.
I'll carry you both.
You don't hear a sound coming from Cicero.
I need you to do a medicine check on Cicero.
I'll pick you up and put you next.
Okay. Grok, as you begin to examine the body, there is something you notice on the wall, and in the language that you read, it's covered in blood. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, grab a half read.
You.
All half read.
Very. It's more like a series of verbs which attest to something, and then a noun at the end, which is protest the anointed one.
Protest the anointed one.
It just says protest the anointed one. It seems like the elections are going on really badly here.
They don't like the opposing candidate.
Like, orcish culture is really weird.
I don't know much about it. I'll trust you.
That's surprising.
You were basically taught because your island was so close to this landmass where all the orcs are. You were like, you know.
You know what? You're probably right.
Some of my best friends are orcs.
You know what? You're right. I don't know orcs. I know humans. I know humans are bad. If you say orcs are better, very well.
Okay. So in a moment of confidence, Moki is slightly bolstered by what you said. Grok, you are so damn smart. I want you to make a natural geography roll for me.
Knowledge of local? Oh, no, just
14.
He's so smart.
So smart. 14.
You know literally nothing about this place,
Your brain is too big.
except for one thing.
Orcs are here.
There is one main trail which is used to carry supplies through this entire landmass, and it's a weird orc word called the Goga Trail. You don't exactly know where you are, but you know that center trail leads to two major towns in this region. One of them is particularly bad, one of them is much more accommodating. You don't know, like, direction-wise, which way you would be. Moki hasn't even told you that those are the Fangs of Wisdom. You just see distant mountains that are black and obfuscate the distant horizon.
You know where we are?
It's a bit foggy because I've just woken up after being
Okay. We are in the White Wilds,
decapitated.
the Orcan Kingdom. Those mountains over there are the Fangs of Wisdom. And basically, to the west of us, we have the continent. No, sorry, to the east of us, we have the continent. To the west of us, ocean.
When you look to the east, there aren't white sands.
You to the west.
To the east. That map,
Probably a bit more.
that map does not even show where you are.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
You literally, so
That's all I know.
the stuff you're looking to the east is actually a place called, which you know the name of it because it's a big place in Brandt Gate. You are even further west than the access to the map that you have. All of the areas that are leading that west are blocked off by X's for raiders.
Okay, hold on. Looking at this actual fucking, are we like near Blackstone on that part of the island? Okay.
You're even further past Blackstone.
Well, I'm gonna assume we're on White Wilds because that's what Mickey would think.
Exactly. Yeah. You just can't see the white sands. That's all. Yeah.
On the White Wilds. We need to go east and away. Yeah.
While it's being a week and a half desert.
Guys, we should go to the
Alright,
camp.
I thought we knew the Goga Trail.
The Goga.
The Goga Trail.
I don't know any
Oregon
trails
Trail,
here. My people don't go near here.
It is probably the biggest inland trail for the orc area, but that's if you're in the orc area.
But if I remember correctly, there's 2 towns nearby. One of them is really bad news, and the other one is quite a hospital, actually. But I don't have any idea where we are exactly.
Well, to my knowledge, we're in the White Wells, but I could be wrong. For sure I'm right, though.
We can just believe anything right now. We just need to recover. How about you restrain now?
We've no
The demon that's half out of the
Scanning.
lake puddle.
scanning the parts. Are there any vines or long?
Yeah, see that
Why don't you do this?
weird
Yeah, go for it.
plant there that has like long
Spirally ends.
stems? Just use them.
I'll try.
They actually do provide a good source of like material fiber for you to be wrapping stuff in.
I
They
will do it.
they decay fast because they are a natural plant. Like they're
It'll
very
last
organic.
for like a few hours.
Yeah, maybe a day tops.
Cool. I'm gonna use it, tie his 3 tails together, tie his legs together, if I have enough, and tie his hands together.
Yeah.
gonna tie his
Well,
snout
both of
together.
his legs are still submerged in the liquid bed, so you would have to hoist this whole like creature out. So you try.
If I can do the tails stuff.
You begin to like pull it out in chunks, but you realize half of the things under the water are getting stuck because it's like layers of plating that are hitting the edge and then getting like caught on it. So it takes you an extra like decent amount of time to pull this thing out, more than normal.
Can I do a rope tying check?
No, you don't have rope. You have a type of material that can do, in essence, what ropes can do, but you don't even think a rope could really hold that thing, really.
And give us warning around.
Yeah, it may give you warning. But as you are tying that, you're standing on the highest point and you realize over this area here, you look over the rays and you see tall arches that kind of end at a broken side, grey and light sandy colored stone. You see the remnants of a destroyed town over this hill here, back here. This area here is obviously slightly more elevated than the place you're at,
Bro,
but it is ruins.
there's a town over there. A ruined town, a destroyed town.
That way, it's just like deserts, and you can see some like rounded cliff edges. Who knows?
Look at this.
I can't move around right now, but
You could be dragged to it.
I
It's close enough. It's maybe
it could be
150
worth the risk
feet.
to go investigate. Just be careful of bandits or scavengers.
Did you read the
Right.
sign here? Said
I
protest the
shouldn't
anointed
just
one.
take you both that. Okay. I will do a quick scout out. If you're in danger, let me know. I'll bring you over there. And leave
Alright,
the demon.
Leave me here with the corner.
No, I'm not bringing either.
Just slowly, the mouth gets closer.
Okay. Let's do this. I will go to the town, scout it out for any.
If you want to be stealthy,
Hostilities.
if not, just perception.
I didn't mean to kill you.
I will be stealthy. As stealthy as myself.
You walk at a normal horse pace, but you stick on
I'm
soft,
not
softer
galloping.
grass.
I'm just sort of like fast.
You're a bit of a
Yeah,
scary
fast,
boy, you know?
but you're going even slower than a regular gallop just because you're trying to make the sound of a horse impact. Knowing that in every worst case scenario, the orcs don't care that you're a centaur, they would hunt a horse.
Yeah,
The sound of a horse is enough to get these guys
exactly.
hungry.
Okay.
Do you do?
Let's do. I don't want to use this deck because
I don't understand you when you do this.
you know that's
Cool.
Yeah. Stealth.
You're gonna eat me? You should eat me.
Two
ready
for
for
stealth. That's a roll of 6 minus 4.
Technically, my flesh is vegetarian.
And now perception.
You have a -4 on land, so a -6 when you're on
Technically,
water.
my
On
flesh
the
is
bird,
vegan
yeah.
because I'm consenting to you eating me.
Thank you.
14 for.
Nick just wanted you to eat him.
Yeah.
And a 14
I
on.
did not understand you wanted to cook me at all. See,
Ow.
that's a bit more.
Cookie!
Alright.
Oh no, guys, we're getting attacked.
It's made of cookies.
I'd be like, what the fuck is a cookie?
Woolies, they're the best.
Yeah, sure. Gross.
You climb the edge, trying with a 2 to stick to the softest areas. You're realizing
Stop rolling badly, please.
there is a lot of hard-packed dirt. Luckily, still cushions most of the sound of your
Like a few minutes
voice.
accidentally walking gravel.
There are you're getting to basically a collapsed, debris-filled town.
Debris. It's debris.
No, it's Deborah.
Stop saying Deborah. My mom
The
will get
town
confused.
is filled with Deborah.
That's a lot of Deborah
debris.
right there.
And
Essentially
that,
Douglas.
Shut up.
that type of stone granite is, I'm guessing, what you're going to stick clear of. Knowing with a bit of survival prematurely that the creatures that could be hiding behind this would be very, very alerted by that
Well, you're
sound.
premature.
These premature thoughts.
You could tell.
Rarely. That's the wisdom.
Okay.
In real life.
Look at that arm. He did not gestate enough.
You
I'm
find...
born for a healthy 6 months of pregnancy.
You say 14?
That is
Perception?
horrifically.
Yeah, 14.
You should have been in the womb for like 15 months because you're big.
You
Don't worry
do...
about it. Your mom's fine.
You do half
No,
a...
but I can't like this.
You do half a circle around this ruined edge of a town, and you're realizing it is kind of in another larger, rounded kind of crevice. Like, you've climbed up on an elevation, this town exists here, but there's a back wall lining where there's another higher landmass above it, and an actual, slightly stronger smell of salt.
Ocean. I was right. We are in the warehouse.
As you smell that, on your right, the 14 perception, there is what appears to be 7 or 8 stones of this destroyed rubble that, unlike everything you've walked past so far, looks...
I've seen you broken. Take it.
You don't see rope, but stones that look like they were tampered with in a pile.
Why are you tampering with stones?
You saw it, didn't tamper.
Okay, good.
You're not... So, you've done a whole lap. This all just looks like a naturally destroyed... Also looks definitely... If it wasn't ransacked before its destruction, you don't find any sign of, aged food, remnants of bodies, nothing like that. This whole place has been picked clean.
Is anyone here? Oh, stealthy. Never mind.
Is anyone? It just like slightly echoes. You cut yourself off.
Yeah.
But there's the only thing that in 3/4 of a lap of this, I would say it's probably like a 10 minute like jog around this large ruined town.
Any buildings up that can give any semblance of shelter? Like the elements.
No, but like from eyesight, from eye line, yes. This potentially looks like it could have been a very, very good ambush point, but obviously creatures didn't expect you to be coming out of a hole in the ground. So the only thing you see here, despite there are signs of large barefooted footsteps of big-footed creatures, a pile of rocks that are half ruin and debris that are kind of piled on top of each other, forming kind of like what you maybe imagine like a gravestone piling might look like, but it just looks like the debris of the town that someone has like kind of compiled into one. Area is going to send you for a bit of a spizzy.
Okay. The town seemed empty, but further to the west, I think there is some birches, wild animals, or very flighty. So I don't think it's an ambush, but I don't think it's safe to be here. Wait till after dark.
Right.
You had been laying your hands on the kind of the slow compressing chest of Cicero, and you somehow by applying pressure like there's supposed to be more wounds there. The wounds from the first battle on the Terra Firmata, your ship, those wounds are the ones that seem to be the most infectious.
Do I hear a heartbeat?
You do. But I would say it's slower. Or at least in his breath, he doesn't sound winded. He sounds maybe like he's got a perforated lung or a broken rib.
Right.
A sound that's kind of like a harsher breath.
We have two plans. We need to hide somewhere. You will take us both, so I can't walk.
Easy. Flat desert, there's nowhere to hide there.
Or we fortify the town
Much to fortify.
and take advantage of the
Rubble.
natural
Most
defenses.
of us in buildings.
There are natural defenses, as in walls. There's no roof. No roof.
That's what I mean by that.
Yeah. I mean, Grok doesn't know it, but you described it correctly.
Okay, I'm gonna have to let you be the decider, because I can't. You're gonna have to keep us together.
You're right that we need to hide and rest for a bit.
Melion,
A few days.
you're slowly hearing the sound of their voices filtering in, but it's blurry.
I'll be
There's no
right over
actual
in a few
audio.
hours.
If we go east, it's flat desert. If east is flat desert, right?
If it's the White Wilds, at this point, you look at the direction west. There's no sun. In the direction of the sunlight, where you're seeing jagged mountains, very very distant. What do I say? You know what? Actually, here's the weird part. The forest. You're kind of in a small patch of forest line, which seems to be guarding the edge of this ruined town. But if you were to continue this trail downwards, which you assume is east, like this way, that's east. This way is technically west. This way is east. The brown of this land changes into some areas of green, like there is some rolling hills. Before then, there's just a cutoff point, and maybe there's further cliffs. I'm not sure. Like ahead of this land looks all pretty smooth,
Very flat.
very flat, very open.
Yeah, open.
The west looks more like higher elevation platforms. You'd be continually
I want to go
climbing.
east, but I don't think we can enunciate. The White Wilds are dangerous. It's open ground. We can be seen quite a distance.
Okay.
I mean, there's potentially a further
I
forest line.
trust you.
Well, no.
Make the right decision.
You also know we're not.
You are. He is totally off in your
This
location.
town, from where we think we were, it's on the edge of the White Wilds. We're on the edge, so very close to some. So we'll fortify a place in the town. Rest for a bit, so everyone's covered.
White Wilds is almost directly just south. It's basically the center southernmost point.
They're at Steeman. This demon's Cornell, isn't it? At least was Cornell.
Probably.
I mean, what indicator is there except for the same two manacles that he never could take off? Right arm,
Cool.
left leg.
Indicator. That's the indicator.
Into my old shop.
You're right. That right band has
It
changed.
killed you too. I don't want to bring with us.
Okay.
I'll pick up Grok and Cicero.
Sound grows, and as you pick up those two, Grok, you get your first good view of the mountain range, which Moki saw as the Fangs of Wisdom. As you look with actually a good sense of dark vision, pre-dawn as it is, you're realizing that there is another slightly smaller, but in definitely differently shaped mountain range that is before the Fangs of Wisdom. The mountains that often you would see from this angle from your home, but much, much further away. The spires, the mountain spires of Blackstone, the central nexus of Duragar and Orc communication and connection, a land that even your captain wouldn't trade with. He would trade with subsects of Duragar, subsects of Orc. That land is so religiously driven, and the item that you found in that cube, the thing that you were kind of toying with, the Orc was toying with on the ship, it all stems from that mountain range. The lore that you remember was that whatever device you have was found deep under them.
Okay. I don't think we're in the White Wilds.
This far west? I think we have to be, don't we?
I think we're in the lands of zealots.
Not familiar with it. What is this place then?
Don't worry about it. I'm actually near my home. Though it's across the ocean.
He didn't say where he lived in that whole backstory of the hag, did he? No. Okay.
Right now, the Zealots will have mercy on our souls.
That doesn't sound good. I'll take him to town. Fortify a place.
You're gonna fortify.
Oh, well, help. He's gonna direct me for fortifying my shit.
Well, I mean, you can basically pull apart that beacon lighter and
I'll
use those as functional wooden
I'll
beams.
put them in a house first, then go back and do that. And to get the beams and stuff.
Oh, you want to take them up to the ruined town? Okay.
Ruined town. Away from this demon.
You drag Grok up, and the
Why
the location
not?
starts to become a little more clear in that the direction you're technically walking up to this town isn't even
You could go the weakest evil if you want.
west, it's more north. And you hit an area of land just past the trees where it's kind of dry dirt plains, and the ruined walls, the framework, but none of the actual supporting structures of a ruined town. Walls and broken arches that form semi-functional cover points for ambushes or, reversed. But as you make it there is a kind of... As you enter, Moki did a full lap going left all the way, kind of like clockwise. If you just look to the right, there's a small hill, and then there is a coast, which would be north. Because you're now realizing you're on one of the inner rims of one of the westernmost sides of this land. In a building, or a series of buildings, make a history check or a local check if you wish.
No, I have history. Not 20. 29.
The name has been erased from history because of how horrific the creatures were that were here. But this is the ruins of the first of the Grey Wars. Much like what you just said, these guys had to die in order for the rebellion to begin. Zealots that would feast on flesh of those considered chosen. So now that Grok actually has an understanding of where he is...
Exploration points. Let's go.
Love that shit.
Fucking yes you do. You realize you're at the edge of Turf Bay. And I would say, for Grok, knowing the only thing really that you know is an extension of this map, which obviously everyone has seen, is that the Gogga Trail aligns with the Elder Trail, which is a trail of stones. And once you hit that point, you know you've gone to the right town. If you don't hit that point, and it's still dirt road forever, you're... yeah. So you set up a type of camp in the ruins of this town, Moki. The only thing that is suspicious about that whole thing was that there was one pile of stones that looked intentionally placed. Do you leave that the entire time?
I'll leave it. No reason. That's great. This graveyard.
Good.
It's really not important.
I'll put them in the building with the most walls.
Yeah, basically two.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't go.
You have some shade from one angle of the sun, but as the sun would set, you have no cover.
And I'll just go over to that big thing.
Or you can flip over to the
it
other side.
entirely and walk back.
Which thing?
That thing.
Oh yeah, that thing comes off in pieces. Like each log basically separates.
Do I lift it all? How many tons of it?
Okay, here's the thing. Individually, it's not held together.
Oh.
It's somehow, like, as you try to move it, there is a kind of blue tack-like stickiness to it. In that, as you begin to pull it off, you realize there's like this web of thick, stringy black tar, which you obviously assume is both something holding it together, but something that smells a little bit like kerosene.
It's cum, Marky.
It's sticky cum that lights on fire.
Black cum is bomb.
Not me.
Cum is something different.
You're right. It's bum.
Or
It goes boom.
So you can pick up the bum.
Goes boom.
No more poo jokes, right? So you take the sticks of bum
glad you've entertained yourself.
and you carry them and drag them
realize that
to
one.
the area. Now, not only do they function as walls, they also function as combustible walls.
I don't know.
Because they're covered in basically a...
In
what's
real
the word?
life.
Like the pine...
Like,
you remember it? Like a pine tar oil, the thing that spreads. Yeah. Like the super, not just flammable, but the sticky.
if there's two
napalm.
tons,
Napalm, that's it.
I can
Oh
lift it
my
off the
god, they
ground
all
and
said
carry
they're
it.
called napalm.
Yeah, it's even more sticky.
I'm gonna carry it all the way over, letting all the stickiness over my
Yeah,
chest.
your whole body is covered in a
I
flammable
guess they
substance.
just
Nice.
fight against the elves in the
magic
trees.
engines.
The Vietnamese are here.
Who doesn't know that? What do you know that?
Grok, I've got this, but it's sticky for some reason. Grok.
You see, Grog is just like standing at the edge of a cliff, gazing at the edge of the lake. Which, by the way, if Moki's correct, this should be the coast of the White Wilds.
We should totally build our fortification down this, right? Nothing can go wrong.
That stuff would make a good fire. It's very flammable.
Oh. So we shouldn't.
Look down where it's covering your arms.
Oh,
and
shit,
your
no.
torso.
Should be fine.
Don't inside yourself.
I got a picture that if we head south is where the hospital town is.
Are they friendly people?
I believe in a strange being. It's called Torgard.
Let's not go there.
I heard it
There's
was
a lineman on the left.
about a kooky old man is a saint there or something.
Really nailed it.
Why are you looking at me? I've never heard of that place in my life.
Closer to, if you're correct, closer to you is actually the elders. Oh yeah, you can pause that. Thank you. Is the elders' grave site? Well, not the elders' grave site, but Torgard's grave site, which you never got to go near. But it's very close to the entire side of the island, which is considered the second most dangerous water-based land in the southernmost side of this continent.
We're also near
Called Turf's Wreck.
some of the forbidden lands. Torgard's graveyard. So as long as any zealots don't come by, most of the Northerners are very close by, but this is a sacred area, so usually they're calling to bother us. I say that, but I could be wrong.
I did see something on the cliff. I don't know who it was or what it was, but it went away.
Alright.
Okay.
All I would have seen would be a lone centaur. That's probably not worrying at all.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think Moki points out where you saw a black shade, but yeah, there's nothing there. And it is just like a raised hill, which you would have to spend a fair bit of time climbing up to move to. But
It should be fine.
it's a good elevation point for anyone who wants to camp. Normally for Melion, he's unconscious.
I don't know much about nature and such. But for the general topics is
You'll get
north
that.
bad,
Real blind,
south
he's
good.
so many names up
We
here.
should head to the main
There's a lot to think
travel
about.
channel.
Literally
I think we should rest for a day or two.
Great.
South.
4.
That sounds like a
Something more
That's
to
what it's
it.
like to.
As you take
showing
camp and you rest,
It exists in real life. That's what they think.
I'm gonna just say we can. Who wants to do first watch? If you want to do it that
I'll
way.
do first watch because I'm the least fucked up.
Okay.
Somehow.
Yeah, go for it. Give me that perception. Persuasion.
Do you have the power of wound coercion?
Yes, he
I'm
does.
gonna take it off, give it to Nick.
No, yeah. Alright.
No.
Cedric, Cicero.
Sis Mel.
Yeah.
Cicero.
Nice guy.
Cicero.
Okay.
I thought I was gonna have to steal that.
I was gonna say
That-
already
that-
while he's unconscious, it does look like it isn't
not-
helping,
it's-
but
it's-
you know how it's affected him in the past, and
Yeah, yeah.
there's potential for it to do
Okay,
its
cool.
boony things.
God, someone's being forcibly dragged back to his body.
21.
21. And no, remind me, you also have a potion still? Is that?
I have a dino potion. I didn't use it.
No, but yeah, that's the other. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Cannot be free.
You have the Yeti potion,
Um,
apparently.
You can have it if you want. I'm not fucking using it ever. So.
Take that from your fucking
I
unconscious
have
body.
a giant bag. Would you like to go through the things in there?
No, I just see potion. I'm like, ooh,
It's in
yummy.
the bag. It's in the bottom.
Fuck, I will start getting it then. That's an invasion of privacy.
Oh wow.
I'm not tased. I can't do that.
So it's actually like you're
It's not
resting
illegal just to
now,
look at people's inventory.
but the sunrise has begun, and you're looking at it's maybe
What's the steel
it's
thing on my
actually
clothes?
maybe
But
5 or
it's invasion
6
privacy, I can't.
5 or 6 a.m. now.
Stop you from taking my meal back.
While
I want those.
while Grok is in 2 hours of sleep, it's about you started sleep at about
You're a
4
demon. It would be
3 a.m.
broken. Will become warped to all hell.
I already transformed that.
Moki, you hope that whatever, if anything comes here, it's not going to see a massive lizard's body that honestly blends in slightly with the rubble of the town. Like, pretty well. Except
I
for
don't
the
think I
tail.
bought the lizard body here.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I left it because it's the fucking
Cool.
demon that killed my
Okay,
friends.
cool. Okay, good. So that's a lot less attracting to
Also,
your area.
it's tied up in the
Yeah, so
tunnel.
yeah. You could have dragged it, it would have just been a big drag thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, it did seem unconscious the entire time, but as you
Right, you can pick that thing up and throw it 60 feet.
stay on watch, you notice at the top of the cliff, which you observed a dark figure at,
Yeah, that's why I keep them most while.
That's good.
the sun is coming from the opposite side.
That's a
But
lot.
from that cliff, which is slightly swallowed by darkness, a kind of ember glow begins to
Just keep
grow.
getting higher.
So the cliff above your ruined town is beginning to kind of glow. Like fire is getting closer to the edge, which you are beneath.
Why are you getting heavier? Are you a black hole? Nice.
I would have in my hand the one green crystal shard I had.
Put it in the engine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You did.
Yeah, I
So,
want it. I
so
want to eat it.
as a glow begins
Alright,
to
eat it.
kind of grow on the, it's not here yet. You can't actually hear the sounds of stomping, but that kind of glow, potentially more than one light. Croc is asleep. It's pretty dark in this kind of shaded ruin. Do you want to hide?
I pick up Grok and Cicero go back to the demon. We're running.
Nice. I like that.
That was a helpful cover.
Holy fuck!
You get shot 7 times. in the
My
back.
really bad die just rolled 2 natural ones in a row,
You're really okay.
and then a 7. Nice.
Guys,
None of the dice are out.
fucking, I go into the fucking wooded area.
19s. Yeah.
Oh, go to the demon.
It actually only rolls 1s
demon will protect
and
us.
19s, not 20s,
There's a
ever.
huge fucking
Ever,
horde
ever.
coming of people with like torches, so we're leaving.
You get woken up and then just pulled upwards. Like there is a moment of, and then you're just on your feet, boom, 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 stepping forward. Your body, your legs are numb. You actually still feel your arm like pulsing to life, and then seemingly going numb again, like it's asleep. It's not waking up properly. You move. You break to the edge of where that tree line is, and did you make stealth?
I will do stealth.
Please do stealth. If you're considering like dragging all of them, then it's really just on you, the stealth. But if
If you
Grok's
stealth,
just
you move
doing
half
his,
speed, by the way.
Oh, that was an 8. Okay, 8.
Solid.
4.
Love it.
Grok, you hear behind you. It's like a fuzz of sound. The stomps of gravel under your feet as you begin to move, and then move into like a tough dirt. That was the first, like kind of like a grunting sound.
Wait. Oh, by the way, you can move at full speed and stealth with a -10.
Oh.
-8. Sorry, negative
Negative
6.
6.
Yeah, -6.
Quick math.
So Grok is technically like the most hidden, even though he's not hiding.
Right. All they see is a giant centaur running. They don't see what he's carrying.
It's also in the dark. Like they can barely see your lower half. Maybe they can see your upper half.
They just see a horse. That's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They can see in dark vision, but remember they've got torches up to their face.
It's also its range.
For the range.
Okay.
And we're like a
And,
mile.
and I'm giving them that they can see the horse body
They
and
also
they can
have
hear the horse body.
light sensitivity, so they see worse of light.
They see worse with a torch up to their face, which is why I rolled 2 natural ones with disadvantage, which
Yeah,
doesn't
probably,
exist.
yeah.
So,
They have
Isn't
full
it actually somewhere?
which is coming from that same direction where they're looking. It's literally like
It could be just somewhere.
eastward light. Yeah.
It's
Run to the fucking demon, and
You
when I
get
get there,
you get to the forest line. Grok, you're a distance away. You begin to hear like a type of a sound.
How did you hear that?
What's your perception?
Do I roll?
Just base. You're rolling it. If you're keeping
Base?
an ear out
You
for...
mean what I rolled last time?
That was 21.
21.
So you definitely hear.
A base of action.
Good, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. You're basically hitting the forest line where you're nearly fully covered anyway. So that's why the sound is approaching you from behind. Those sounds ring out. Grok, you hear them pass by you. Like the horse is moving faster than you still. And those too quiet to be full-size arrows. You hear a kind of muffled, "What tribe? Speak.
Running.
Where do you hail?"
Does he look nice, babe?
Oh, that sounds threatening.
That's profile.
What do you say while I'm carrying you and running away?
Oh, I thought you just picked him up and then let him start running himself. Or did you do?
No,
Oh, you're still dragging
I
him.
carried.
Just keep moving, Grok. Not saying a thing. Both of you.
Yeah, I don't think Grok knows any tribes because he doesn't know local.
You run into the demon. Fucking.
You run to the demon.
pirate.
Maybe this is like some cultural thing.
A pirate would know.
A pirate would know about some random cultures
Yep.
and stuff.
I mean, that is actually a description that you
You
could
need to
give.
know.
Doesn't mean it's a good one. They at least respect that piracy is a thing here.
You need to know which ones is a good idea to steal from.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, you guys basically run to the front. You're already half exhausted, and
Can we do a fort track or something?
no.
Okay.
You make it, and you make it back to where the demon is.
I can cut the binds off him and I tell demon, wake up! Krueler!
Demon.
Do you try and smash him?
I'll fucking kill him in the head.
Smash.
I was gonna say, yeah, you hoof him. Nothing.
He does.
Not a single bit of movement.
Oh.
In fact, the impact basically just like it does crane the neck, hard bone plate.
Put down Grok and Cicero and fucking shake him.
Because you were so focused, you were not aware of the fact that you see not 30 feet away from you a hand kind of just reach out. And Grok, you then notice, because he's much closer to you, but you were slightly more focused on Moki and what was behind you. In front of you, right here, is a large... If you want to.
Wow.
You see a large bone staff and a small, almost like malformed Grok. You look at it like it's a grey orc, but there's no tusks. And he's like maybe nearly 6 feet tall. It's just too short to be an orc. But like a large belly, and what you can see is a perfect spiral carved into the center of its stomach.
Does it seem like a half-orc?
Half-orcs would still have tusks. It's weird that this thing doesn't, but as it extends its arm out, you see from its hand, shadow just start to like cover the floor. Like sunlight is beginning to go over you. Somehow he tries to like bring that same darkness that swallowed Moki before. So I need both of you to make will saves for me.
Will save.
Not Melior.
Okay, I got that one.
On that one.
So I what I felt.
Doesn't need it.
All that shit.
Roll a 37. Roll a 37.
What's
Alright.
our
Hey, barbarian.
You're all good. This is the deep slumber spell. You're unconscious.
Okay, let's do this.
Got a +3.
You're supposed to review.
9.
Well,
Just about to say
never
your
mind.
DC is 15 and
all
Cicero has a
we're all
+2.
getting molested.
You are unconscious. All of you are slumbered. And
I
then,
succeed, but I was already supposed to.
damn you son of a bitch.
He was already unconscious at the time.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Definitely not.
Quick, wake up.
In my mind, though.
Cicero, you do wake up first. To see shades, you pass under like you're being carried.
I've been fully aware this whole time. How long has it been since this has happened?
Since you emerged and had the brooch put back onto you, and you've been
It's true. I was going to say.
basically 30 minutes of recuperating, 2 hours of sleep begun in the dawn of the morning, and then immediately after that, yeah, you were taken. And you just pretended, being the pretender.
I'm not pretending. I'm in a fucking comatose vegetative state.
Yes. So when you squint one eye open, realizing that you're now in a more comfortable kind of, you're being carried by more people than you were before. Last time it was very uncomfortable.
You're in a 5-star hotel and they serve breakfast in
Chocolate
bed.
and head pads is what I need.
You pass under layers
Not safe.
of fabric that conceal doorways. Arches above your head hold this fabric, but you see these are all stained with blood. Tattered ribbons of crimson that seem for you to pass under, revealing another room, another layer of crimson curtains. Tattered, kind of single strand fabrics. Images on the roof show hands, 5 or 6, holding another hand, one covered with fur and holding up a hammer, a square brick hammer. Hands, 5 or 6 other hands grabbing the hands like they're trying to pull it down. And you see the hand that is holding this hammer is wrapped in bandages all the way up until the entire hammer appears to be kind of half wrapped like a Christmas present.
What a strange imagery.
Clutching, grasping arms from below.
I don't like it.
And as each of you wake to darkness, you are each alone, separated by bars under stone.
Is that kind of,
Ryan.
do I count as each?
You do.
Oh, let's go, guys. I can
You
play again.
all have one wall with bars that fills your vision. But it shows, obviously Cornell can't see, but it shows, I had to say that,
Stripped down naked.
it shows that you are inside a long hallway made of a dark grey stone that you're at the edge of. Yes, you are stripped of your gear. The thing that is on your neck stays. The clothing that you had remnants on you stays. But anything that was loose has been taken. Anything and everything, including weapons. But any like type of armors, even your boots, stayed.
Increased by Jay-Z.
Yet, okay. Yet as you look beside your bed, all except Cornell, you see food, jugs of a liquid. The food is in a basket, or for some of you, a wooden box, topped up with some kind of slop, like porridge and beans and dirt.
Why don't I get food?
So good.
And I'll just say the taste is off-putting. But after
Picks up this farm.
ingesting, it isn't actually that the aftertaste isn't as bad, just the initial taste. The aftertaste is okay. It's rich fiber foods, and the jugs contain a version of slightly dirtied water that is solid and easy to drink. Water that is drinkable with a slight bad aftertaste.
And no, you can't eat the box.
Unlike your food, Moki, this feeling as you wake up in a daze, being back in a dark place, a place without freedom, and the smell of something fouler than the food trough you see beside you.
Yes!
Beside you,
Treat him like a woman!
beside you, slumped to the side of that trough, is a horse. Its head crushed against the side of a wall where you can see a large blood trail shows the head smashed, and then slowly falling into its death. Its head half sleeped into the trough.
Extra dinner though.
I don't like that.
You're still barely conscious at this point, and you obviously eat. We'll get back to that.
I was about to say this is better
But
than my
the
previous
horse-
favorite nerd.
The horse bludgeoned to death against the wall beside you. That smell is worse beside what appears to be... that smell isn't as bad as the smell of a freshly killed, half-melted human body. It appeared that acid killed it, and it was potentially the rider of this horse. as you're waking, what wakes you is the kind of clang, the resounding noise of an iron bar being shut, because the first thing you wake up and see is a half-crushed dead horse body. When you actually wake up, that horse body is dragged out, leaving you only the trough and the half-acid, decomposed man in the corner of your room that smells far worse than that horse body could.
How do you know I was going to eat the fucking horse?
Well, you got a little bit of space. So
Now you have a little bit of space.
Do we get the benefits of a long rest?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Free HP, let's go.
you get enough. You actually lose a long rest. Whatever that.
Still on
I'm
zero.
glad.
But
I
there's-
fucking blood rage.
But as you're waking up, there's something that's really horrible about this place, this room, and this dead body. It looks like he was forced to sit still beside his horse as acid was poured over him from the face. Then thrown into the room with his horse. Like I said, the flesh on one half of the body completely decomposed, and the smell of acid and the newly killed horse almost enough to send you back into that state of unconsciousness. The clang, the fuzzy vision, the clang focuses it slightly. An iron door, the grinding of horse as it's pulled away, then a sound that lasts maybe a minute. Ripping, rending, and tearing, but not chewing,
Read bugs.
in the room to your right. The horse body is dragged into a cell to your right that you can't see because it's only the bars in front of you. But you can see that there is a kind of jutting out rounded bar edge where you can see there's a...
Can I recheck the rules? Is this considered half because it's poor conditions?
Half what?
Half a long rest.
Half longer.
Oh, sure, if you...
yeah.
No, actually,
Yeah, so there's full.
for,
We have
for,
nice food.
for the first night, yeah, so when you wake up, it's half a long rest, but from every night onwards, because by the way, this will be multiple days in this prison, you are getting fed good enough food to sustain actual long
Even
rests.
me?
Even you, in a trough.
David, I think we should let's just keep the campaign here the whole game. I don't think we need to leave this.
We're gonna do
I
a
got the
prison
map, it's
break
all over
in
there. The whole prison thing, it's all there. Whenever you want to do an escape,
I
next
don't.
session.
Don't want to.
Right now.
So yeah, you can take a half.
I want to
Wait,
roleplay being
wait,
miserable
yeah,
for
Hayden's
6
in
years.
prison. Nice.
No.
Trust me,
Doesn't exist.
when I said Aiden, you're in prison, I did not get a response. Well,
Just nerves, like, okay, 5 seconds now, you're
Guys, I've been in prison before. We need to find the biggest and baddest guy.
Guys,
Goes to the
I've
prison.
literally been in this situation before.
Smart.
You can't win.
yeah, the trauma scale right now.
Goes to
No.
the hand up.
Alright.
This
No.
guy right here. Here's the right.
There is no sound of devouring, only the sound of rending, ripping, and snapping of bone in the room beside you that sounds like a horse being destroyed, ripped apart,
Fucked to death. Well, sorry, it is already dead. Just
Fucked to
fucked.
death.
ripped to death.
Keep that out of here, okay?
The feeling of being back in a place of tight quarters and dark tunnels, slowly the deep, swelling rage begins to bring you into a state of focus, calm, rage-filled focus. But it feels like you've been trying to gain a grip for minutes. You don't know or hear or remember how long that rending of flesh sound was going for, yet it feels like you've just woken up and it's been 30 seconds, but it could have been minutes. You don't see anyone in the room, and the light from the distant corridor, which seems to be kind of at an angle, so you can see kind of down it, but it's still just a dark corridor, is dim, and there is a distant, out of eyesight, firelight, which gives you the illumination of a corridor. A cell like yours, but seemingly visibly down that corridor, revealed by firelight, there is a cell like yours, but much smaller. Yours, at least, can fit your body out. The other looks to be maybe human-sized. And to your right, obviously, the slight jutting of another. So if you press your face to the very edge of the bars, you can see that there is a prison immediately on the other wall, stone wall to your right, where that rending sound was. And there's definitely further prison doors down that hallway. Cornell. You wake long before Moki.
Oh, cool.
Quietly, without light through your destroyed retina, The first thing you notice is the sound of a feminine voice. Your vision is red, but the sound, clearly someone gagged, and mouthing some slur in Orcish that, through the cloth, you couldn't understand. But you notice the sound of two quiet but deep quaking footsteps of 4 large feet. You can't hear her being dragged, potentially just carried. And the creatures aren't light-footed, but you're waking up for the first time, it feels like in weeks. Before was a nightmare. Your body aches, but you're realizing some limbs are longer, still diseased. You're more like this now than the other thing. The form that you showed me with Hero Forge. Cicero, as you wake, not knowing why you don't feel the warmth of golden light, but then realize where you realize the dark corridor, like room you are in, has a single dull glowing torch almost at the end of its burn. You see how little space the glow reaches, but just enough to see there is a dark corridor to your right and left. The left corridor is slanted at an angle of smooth stone that warps around a corner. You heard a sound wake you or reorientate you. You've been basically awake this whole time. Of iron bars clamping shut as it echoed from seemingly every direction, but if you're guessing, probably to your left. Sorry, yeah, to your left. Directly in front of you, there are small, half-oval shaped inserts where bars guard. Do you remember, I don't remember the exact name of it, but do you remember those really horrible prison torture devices that were basically like a massive body cage that was filled with spikes?
Iron Maidens.
Yeah.
Iron Maidens.
Yeah.
It's an Iron Maiden with much smaller spikes and one bar cage covering the front, so it doesn't seal inwards. It's just half an Iron Maiden in curvature.
They're historically inaccurate because they've never been used in real life.
Understood.
This is not real life. Look at that.
Good point.
Wait, this is at the front of me.
This is in front of you. There is basically a visible place where you should see someone in a cage, except you just see half an Iron Maiden with bars. You don't see a door opening into this place. It looks like the entire wall cage would be removed, and you can even see small crumblings at the edge of the wall where this whole bar has been completely ripped out, put back in, and then remolded over so that whatever's inside will never leave. There's nothing in there that you can see. Maybe something piled at the bottom. But the sounds, there was a muffled feminine voice, gagged and choked, that you heard. Bars bang, and then loud footsteps carried away. Rock, as you wake, you are face first on a stone slab. It's basically like a bed for this prison. You turn around and you kick something, you hear thatch. A basket hit the floor, spilling contents across the ground. Luckily, your foot missed the wood or wax jug that rests idly at the edge of your smooth stone slab bed.
Didn't have a chance.
As you look towards the jug, you see where your jug is positioned, and you look at it. At the far side of where that room is, where the jug's angle is a set of bars. Cage. And as you look towards the jug, in that far side of the room where there's smooth stone walls, there is half an Iron Maiden. This one, there is something inside. But it is basically completely shadowed with a fragment of torchlight. The iron bar, behind the iron bars, Grok, you see it reveals a suit of armor. At first you think it's just a suit of armor pinned to spikes. Armor that is shrouded in the dark corner of this small half Iron Maiden. But you see no hands, gauntlets, like a full suit of armor, except a neck of red fur that is invisible. It is swallowed by darkness in the corner of the room. So Grok, as you wake up, you did kick your food basket onto the ground. You can pick it up and scavenge that. You've realized it's kind of like chunks of crab. So you're getting fed with some good high protein material. For you, the kind of large wooden and wax jug seems to be half full with some functional liquid.
Better get on my strength. Grok will start eating him.
You see, even as you stand up, you're pretty sure that set of armor doesn't even look like it's from this culture, but it's still. So it's probably a dead body trapped on the opposite side of bars from where you are. You're in kind of like a thin 15-foot long corridor, 10 foot wide, with a large stone slab bed at the end.
Were Grok's goggles stolen or cleaned after the metal came off?
Oh, actually, well, I would say they were almost reinforced with the metal. So they would actually have that kind of metal color. Thing is, too, is I reckon they're basically like you know the sunbaking spots. This time they're actually like metal sewn into your temple area. Like you pull them up, and now you try to move them, and it's like pulling skin off of your skull. You're going to need to do some deeper magical work to unfuse the metal from your head.
Wait, is it fused with skin or skull?
Probably the skin.
Right. So, force can do it.
But still not great for his current state. That's your...
scalp.
Grok will start banging on the bars going,
Guards! Anyone?
Melion, Cicero, immediately to your right. You rock. There's a solid wall in place. You're not seeing
He's
it.
talking Orcish, obviously.
Are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. You hit rock.
That could be anyone.
And both of you being awake this whole time for the first time in maybe 3 hours of waking up, you hear someone talk. Do you understand Orcish?
Nah. Could be anyone.
What did you say?
Yeah, that's an Orcish.
In Orcish?
He just said gods.
I used to,
Guards.
but then we...
You know what's great too? Is that you actually understand exactly what he said, only because that word, the word guards, was used by the orcs when you were helping them to say, we need to leave.
Yeah.
The guards are coming. We need to leave.
Help orcs.
So you actually recognize the word.
Right.
That's it. Hour goes by. 2 hours go. You swear you see the suit of armor at the far side of the room, lean forward. But then it just leans back a little bit and completely swallowed by shadow again.
Cage door, right?
You have a cage door. There looks to be you actually in what look to be two of the thinner quarters. Like this could fit an orc semi-comfortably. You guys much more comfortably.
were there any utensils?
No.
For it? Okay, so
So you have a large wax jug. It's about this tall. Oh, sorry, wood. But the smell is wax, like it's coated in wax. It's wood coated in wax. Keeps it from.
So is it like a wax binding, or is it like still
No,
a binding?
like the entire wooden frame of a jug has been coated in wax, so it's like tougher. I'm not really sure why. It's a bit weird.
And the plate?
It is a thatch basket. It's crab pieces. I mean, realistically, you don't need utensils to be eating crab. They expect that. They expect you to just rip it.
The shells,
Okay, there's maybe 2 shells, like 2 functional shells about this big each, like the type of crab we escaped the encounter from. Mud crab size for Australian standards, and with no pincers. You never got pincers, but you did get one of, or I'd say about 3. I'm glad. This is actually pretty good information. Good point. 3 real legs of crabs. So not the pincers, not the sharpest points, but these are technically sharper barbs of the legs of a crab.
Alright. What's the prism's material walls of it? Like
a smooth, hard grey stone
So it's like a granite?
above it.
Alright. While looking through it, Rock will look back under the bed.
Okay.
And he'll try to see if he can get the crab's little sharp points and just make like little scratches on it.
Totally. You see the only thing under that bed, there's nothing hidden. There is carvings. Go back to it.
And if that's the case... Oh, there's carvings on the bed.
There is apparently one carving.
Scratch.
Oh, whoops, can't see it anymore.
Time to draw some magical circles.
Love me some magic stuff.
I will do absolutely nothing because you're
Uh,
level 3.
It's a weird phrase.
spell.
It's a bit we might say culty, but for orcs it might make sense.
Fish.
Cultish.
No, it's culty. It's not really
Culty.
cultish. It's culty.
It's
Cultivate. Fuck you.
hope
What?
of the anointed one.
Oh!
Which, by the way, you don't know where you were before. The other one was protest the anointed one, which means fight against.
Maybe they were holding a peaceful protest.
Protest.
Okay. And looking under, reading that, Gork will hide the shells under his bed in the very far corner.
Nice. Real prison.
We'll get back to you, Cornell. You can't see your room, so for everyone else's description but yours, there is a room filled with spines and heads, including the head, just bone now, of a horse and a horse spine. Bone, just bone, flesh licked clean. Everything around this room scattered with things that you subconsciously devoured, and even though you woke up, you still felt like you didn't have the energy. You don't have. You lost control again, even though you woke up. It managed to do something again, like this kind of fighting against death. So though you can't see the kind of resounding smell, the remnants of raw meats that smell like wavers as you wake and as you exist, you know you can't see, but you know you're slightly longer and wider and taller than you should be.
Can I try and reach for a bone?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, how do you know without there really being a warmth to these things? Yet, as you reach just like back into the side, you feel the edge of a vertebrae and you follow your finger up it, connects to a front tusk and a kind of half-domed head. You can feel your hand didn't cave it in, but it's caved in.
Okay.
It feels like an orc skull, although you don't know how orcish it really is. That's some big tusks on the front molars.
I'll grab one of the tusks and see if it comes off.
You feel, and you feel like you just ripped off the entire lower jaw. And yeah, with a little extra.
I'll try and stand up.
So you even like feel the top of that tusk, and I mean it's kind of dull, but for brute force it would do the job. You stand up, you under both feet. You have no idea how many amounts of bone are around you, but 2 steps and you step on something.
I'll look for. I'll just try and feel out the room that I'm in.
Feel out the room.
Looking at anything.
At some point, it's a bunch of pats.
That's why I said feel out.
And then you get to a point to your left side, as you kind of did around your first bung, bung, bung. But it is a with hands, right? The sound of metal kind of dully ringing, and you can also feel on your hand just like the decent amount of rust that has kind of grown on this. So there's obviously some salty air currents that are making this room slowly decompose.
Sort of feel for a door, maybe.
As you reach to like the front edge, Moki, the kind of to your right side where you're hearing the sounds of ripping and tearing, there is barely a visible half circle where the prison to your right juts out of the wall. You couldn't see anyone unless they were literally at the front left side. You're in darkness. The corridor to your left has light. The prison cell to your right has none. You see two hands that are long and elongated.
Familiar hands?
It's actually hard to tell. They look like the bone is extra sharp, or the claw. They look kind of like claws. I mean, it's not three digits like that monster had. It's fingers.
I'll walk up to the bar, lean against it.
But by this time, Cornell's made his halfway around to the other side.
I'll just say, how'd you get in here, friend or comrade?
You hear to your left. Ambiently, it sounds like now that someone talks, the echoing chamber of dense stone and a single long tunnel that is in front of you.
Do I recognize the voice?
It's probably just dry, raspy, and like he didn't actually get water. He got porridge and water in one trough. So he sounds like a rough Moki. Yeah.
Where am I?
Cornell?
It's like an tone to him, but you can hear him. It's
The accent, which is very funny.
You're familiar with, but it sounds like there's still like a rumbling of another deeper voice coming out with him.
Your voice is different.
How do you know me?
We've been together for around 30 days.
Grok.
Moki.
Where are
Centaur.
What time is it?
You asked where we were. What orcs captured us, and now we're prisoners or slaves or whatever the fuck. Well, that was after you killed Grok and Melion. Or Grok and Cicero.
Why did I do that?
Weird fucking realm with the moon and other stuff. But don't worry, after you ripped off their heads, they grew their bodies back and they're fine now.
Right. So they're alive?
Bit worse for wear, and Cicero didn't regain consciousness from the last I saw him.
Are they with you?
Not myself. All I have is a dead guy.
Why is it so dark in here?
Orcs can see in the dark. Also, aren't you blind?
Certainly feel it.
It is very dark.
So,
do you crawl to the sound of his voice, like following the bars back? Okay.
Yeah.
There still isn't much light. You can make a perception check to see how damaged he looks. It's like there's a wall here, and he's like right here.
Motive check to know how he's feeling.
Do it totally. Either way, that sounds
better.
You feel sad.
10.
do I need to roll anything?
Tell me how you feel in the most basic fucking terms.
I think there's a hint of fear.
If you're worried about
Does
what
it
to
say?
do in this place, just follow me, Leon. I have experience in situations like this.
I was just about to say, the fear, I think, is identical in sounding to how you initially felt waking up, Moki.
Word of advice on the other thing is, if you have a chance to rip the jaw of someone, if they get too close to your bars, don't. You'll just get a beating, no food, maybe some torture. It's not worth it.
I know. I've been in a jail before.
Have you been a slave? Have you been a slave?
Pretty close.
The difference. But hey, the food's... Well, my food's pretty much the same, but I heard you had a jug in your home. Is that right?
I don't know. All I'm seeing is, well, all I'm feeling is bone.
That's all you hear.
Well, I have emergency rations anyway. Humans are like that. Oh, sorry. It's a random other human race, not human.
How wide are the bars?
The bars at their widest, maybe 1 foot, one total hand width wide. Like you could fit your arm and maybe your shoulder, or not your new form, old Cornell.
Can I test the strength of the bars? Just
Absolutely.
yeah. Just one bar, both hands. I want to see if I can
Just have
Give it a roll.
20.
Oh, 23.
Okay.
You know what? Hold on. Can I rage? I'll use one round of rage.
Uh,
Unless I don't have that. Did I get my rage back on? Half of one rage? I don't know. If I didn't,
I'm going to say make a fort save first.
Fort
This is
save?
just to activate your rage.
Okay.
Because at this point, I'm going to give you 1 rage, and then I'm going to give you the same exhaustion you had when you
If I
first
only have one
collapsed.
rage left, I won't do it. That's useful. I should
Yes,
do that.
you would have 1 rage.
Okay, in that case, it's only a 23.
Yeah, you did say you were just testing it.
Yeah, testing it.
Okay.
Dipping your toes in.
Even as you rattle, the bottom bars seem to bend outwards. It still grinds into the stone, but now your bars are this.
I'll just quickly bend it back into
Yeah.
place.
It's like the whole thing. You're realizing too, there isn't a door on your cell. It's like this whole bar was just ripped out and then smashed into place, where you can see massive groove marks grinding inwards, where every bar grinds against the stone and is basically just squished into this place, where the natural stone remolds the surface to be tight.
I think my bars are pretty loose. What about yours?
I feel fairly solid.
How far away?
So
You feel like there's rust.
You have a door on yours?
You both hear
That's what I was looking for.
them. I mean, they actually start quieter. They get kind of louder, not much louder, and you could Cicero being the closest.
It's to my right.
Grok is to your right, and these guys are actually to your left. This is why you don't actually describe. It's in the thing.
Big hallway.
So
Am I on the end?
Okay, let me read these.
you are actually closest to Cicero.
Nice.
So Grok is to his right. You.
Grok,
He
Cicero,
is to your right, and you two are a long horizontal tunnel away from each other.
Oh.
Only like 45 feet
We're gonna have to Chinese.
or 25 feet.
So they're not in this one.
So you have an actual like decent small burning torch of light near you where you can see stuff, but you can hear the sound of their voices echoing, but they merge together and you really can't hear them perfectly. You can hear both.
No, there's gonna be.
Everything feels weird. There's
We're gonna be here for
Yeah,
a
when the
while.
voices talk together, you can't hear it. Separate. You can.
Let's get as much
Same with
rest
you.
and water as you can.
There's no other sound in this
And if
prison.
you want sludge.
Why is everything so loud? Can you do me a favor? I'll sort of reach out with the lower jaw or whatever I'm holding.
Yeah.
Can you confirm what I think this is? I'll try and reach it towards you.
Kind of like yeah, put your hand through the bars, reach
I
outwards.
see it. I'll put a hand
You
on
see
it.
it?
Feel it.
That's how wide the jaw is. You don't think it's
Jaw on his hand.
yeah, like the lower half of a jaw. It's bigger than his human hand. With his current hand, it basically fits in the palm of it.
Wait, so the tongue is a hand and around in the jaw?
I don't know where the tongue came from.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the hand laying in the jaw.
His hand is now bigger than a normal human hand, so his enlarged hand can actually hold what is a half ogre, half orc jaw solidly in his hand. You and Cornell both heard rounded footsteps of at one point they were more than decently loud. They were deep rumbles. Grok doesn't have that weight. This jaw is about an extra half size bigger than his jaw. Up to your interpretation.
Well, if I was my father, I would say, congratulations, finally a man. But with you,
What does that mean? This is your father?
no, but my father would approve this. Yep, you're fucked up, but hey, this is more fucked up than what you had previously. You don't have fingers.
What do you mean?
Jaw, isn't it?
You see.
No, I'm holding the
Oh, you're holding a jaw.
jaw.
Oh, wait, hold. Oh, that's. Oh, I thought the jaw was your hand. I'm sorry.
He's holding his hand like this, and that's with the jaw. The fingers unfold, and they're probably double the length of Cornell's former fingers.
Okay.
But it is a jaw.
Yeah, it's like probably. No, an orc is too big for an orc. Like, either a very grotesquely big orc or some of a humanoid monster.
Okay, I think there are multiple skeletons in my cage.
Oh. I don't have a skeleton.
Yeah, I felt more than one. So
Why are they giving you skeletons?
I don't want to think about that.
Do you not have food?
I don't think so.
Want some sludge?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you had a jug, you might be able to hand that through the bars. You have a trough.
Wait, hold on. Give me the jaw.
Alright, take it.
Yes.
Fill the lower
sludge.
basin with the teeth hold some liquid.
Yeah.
Like it starts to sift through the teeth holes.
There you go. What is it?
I have no clue.
Do you like dab your fingers in it?
Yeah.
Like a kind of a thick mash, like porridge, but then with the consistency of water, like coagulated water.
It's better than previously. There's protein in it. You can see there's a bunch of cockroaches.
The initial taste sucks. The aftertaste is manageable.
Okay.
The best part, I think they put fish eyes in here. They're very juicy.
Is this what they're feeding you?
Yeah, probably scraps from wherever they can get.
Okay, I guess it's better
I'm just
than
glad there's some meat, even if it's bugs and eyes, that there's some meat.
You, as you're saying that, you hear a decently deep, like, along with Cornell's relief, like, exhalation, this, like, grumble in Cornell.
If there's anything like before, my experience, when you sent out the fight to the death with us, so probably
Wonderful.
get better food.
Lovely.
You need to, you can eat them.
Where are the others?
I don't know. Can I look around? Like,
To your left, there is one long passageway, and there's a firelight that is invisible.
cell besides?
Just to your right, down the long passageway, you can see the glint of metal of another cell. If there was a creature that walked to the front of that cell, you could see them. Currently, no.
I don't think they're next to you. They would have heard. They might be too next to me, but there's a long corridor between us.
I heard muffled talks like 30 minutes ago, down that corridor.
I'm gonna go to the other side.
Okay.
Is anyone there?
You actually hear, and kind of like, even with your mind, you navigate that it's a 20-foot long, and then it bends around kind of a leftward angle down. So your right passage goes forward, and then a left curve.
Doesn't sound like there's anyone there.
Well,
I guess it's just us on this.
well, I'll lead up, and if you want food, tell me. We can get strength back and be prepared for
Yeah.
the worst.
I'll be here.
Take solace in the fact that they're not going to kill us. We're in cages.
Yeah. I guess I would rather the alternative. Okay. Holler if you need me.
The separation of horse trots and bones cracking under heel. Grok, you peek through the hall and you see the cavernous space, and you heard Cicero. Or only because he's to the bars to your left. If you didn't move, then I guess he wouldn't have heard you.
I got a 30%.
He doesn't.
Jesus Christ.
You hear Grok.
Come on.
You heard that. You heard Grok. You didn't have to say you touched your liquid in your jug yet, but you did hear him knock over a basket, which sounded like it was Thatch. Footsteps of a creature you actually expected to be bigger. You're seeing jutting pieces of like a dark rock sticking out of his skin like it was fused. He moves, dragging along with him a table and two chairs, which in front of your room and right beside Cicero's room, although you can only look at it if you move to the front of the bars, a table is placed. 2 chairs are sat right in front of where the form of the armor is, that's pressed into the, with like kind of like the red fur pressed into the back wall. You see a kind of hooded, blue-skinned creature with a hood and with goggles that look kind of like yours, but a bit more, maybe even more mechanical, not as much arcane. You can see there are tusks, but they look very thin, blue skin. Meets with a grey skin, grey jutting, stone, half ogre, you're pretty sure, orc.
I was thinking of like half Durga or half orc. Okay, half ogre.
That's what you're looking at.
Oh, we've
Sits down at the table. Here, sit, please. You.
Brock will stop counting in his head.
Okay. As another set of footsteps come up behind him, less thudding, less loud noise. You see, in the orc ogre one hand, there is a big mace with a spike ball chain at the end. The other hand has a large sack. It is dumped, most of its contents, dumped onto the table before your cage, the edge of his cage. You see a large black box. You see, what do I have to trade you with? You hear a kind of more harsh hissing voice coming from the blue figure. Marganor's raiders want the best. Give me what the mechanic had. Or give me the mechanic. You hear from the big ogre creature, yeah, man. We're supposed to keep the ones in the cages so they can be tested by the elder. Well, man, if it's Maganor that wants it, the elder will be happy to give it. Remember that we don't actually know what the magic is, man. Just that it's bad, man. Did you gauge the amount of... As he starts to say this, you realize the form shifts, and you're realizing it's still blue skin, but there's a fuzz of white hair and a kind of armor plating that looks different from the disguise. This is a large, almost megamind-headed Durgar. Blue.
It's too powerful. It's the mind goblin, he's here.
But he's still like short.
He's still short.
Okay, good.
Definitely can beat it.
Yeah, I judge difficulty of a fight based on height.
I'm not gonna find it. That's okay. Blue guy.
She is a blue guy.
Blue man group.
Grok, you notice that this isn't your box. This is just the black box that you stole off the ship. Which was in the box.
Yeah.
You continue to hear, it was only with my help that you managed to pull anything from that thing. You don't know exactly what he's referring to. Very good potential. He's talking about your box. Fine, man.
Okay.
Do what you want with it. I get to have the parts for my skin. And you can see, Grok, what looks like some actual pieces of your box, which are just metal, are actually already stuck in his flesh. Like, these guys don't use tattoos. They simply disassemble and then stick it to their skin. You see the satchel is wrapped up, grabbed by the blue... It's actually I would say this Duragar, under all precedences, Duragars like dwarves don't get taller than 5 feet tall. This creature is nearly 6 feet because of how big his head is. So I'm by Megamind. And he walks away quite quietly. You know, there was some sound. The big guy, you're at the edge of the bars, like you're there. They just don't acknowledge you. That's.
I could help you apply that metal better. I could make your skin really strong.
Make a diplomacy roll.
I'll make it also really cool
Oh
looking.
my god. He doesn't count.
That's only 4.
It's only
Oh, it doesn't count as the box.
You just got to roll in the box, man. That's what you get a better roll. Look, I rolled really bad. I rolled a 9, and its wisdom is -2, so you didn't have to get high. But a 4,
yeah.
if you don't have a modifier of +3,
I have
then
+2.
Damn.
oh man, they said I couldn't get you. The elder must insist offerings be given to him first, man. You actually see like a minor tear roll down his cheek, and then he just begins to walk away. He leaves the table and chairs there, like he forgot that he was supposed to take him away. I mean, you see Green Hand of Grok on the bars to your right, but like that's all you can see from. There was a sack which got grabbed, and you probably saw the moment the sack was taken with the things inside of it taken back up. Pulled away.
Leave as well.
Yes, he leaves first. You obviously communicated with the ogre last. The ogre stands at the doorway longingly to be like, I really want help. It hurts.
Okay.
And
As he goes away, Grog will bring the table and try to smash it apart to get the leg.
okay. This is complicated because I would say the table is like 5 feet away from you. Your arm can reach out through the bars, even at a low angle, and get almost 5 feet out. Your limbs are not normal human limbs. I will say, this is a fortitude check. And by this I mean, Grok, these bars were intentionally put just enough away that all you have to do is pop your arm out of your socket to get that extra inch distance.
I don't think Grog has the dexterity to that, but it's fortitude.
I'm gonna say fortitude in that you're still reaching and then you're like pop at the top. And I don't know if Jake knows how that actually would work.
That's 22.
Can you dislocate your own shoulder?
Yeah,
You need to be trained to
you can. You shouldn't.
You should.
Makes you.
You can dislocate every part of your body if you're trained like that.
And you said 22.
Yep.
You get a chair leg. You don't get the table. You get the chair leg of the Duragar, and obviously you're not using your arm strength while it's dislocated. You just pull it back. You see that there is now a red. So the table that it was at the base of was at the base of one of these half Iron Maidens. You see solidly 2 glinting eyes of a creature that is wearing a full suit of what looks like ornamental armor, is now solidly looking out at the bars. You see a red fur head with some orange and a snout. It looks at the edge of these bars and just looks at what you're doing.
Alright. As Grog pulls it apart, Grog will then start bashing the chair on the floor until it breaks apart.
Yeah, you rip back and just like tear until the wood splinters. I'm gonna say you do it in the time frame where the sound of the loud thudding of this ogre is still audible. So it kind of covers the sound a little bit. Not really, a little bit. You hear maybe 2.5 minutes later.
And then Grog will throw the piece of wood under the bed.
What was that noise, man? I was about to have a bath, man. Why did you?
Everybody gets down on it.
Goes over. Man, that was a fine chair. Scrapes up the last pieces. Barely acknowledges you. You reminded me I gotta take the table away from the prisoners or they'll use it to get free. He doesn't realize one leg he didn't grab and begins to walk away with all of the other pieces of wood. You have one thick leg and a bunch of crab legs.
You need some gum and you have an AK-47.
This is straight up the forest. Like, you're about to make bone armor everything. What are you gonna say?
Oh, as he's walking around, we're gonna look out again. We have keys on the belt or anything.
Not on a belt. You see a hooked piece of metal. It has some copper wiring that you're recognizing from Grok's machinery. Like, this was just a piece of metal embedded. Similarly, there's some copper wire that shouldn't be stuck in there as well. It has a hook on the front of his lapel, like a piece of, like, from his chest that is holding a ring of keys. But it is, like, literally a metal hook embedded in his chest is holding the ring chain. None of this belt shit. His body is a belt.
I'm gonna look at the log.
Your cage and Grok's cages appear to be the only two, besides also Cornell's, that actually has a door. The others all seem to be just like slammed into the wall. Rusted. Looks pretty old.
Go with this. I try to ascertain if this is a simple lock or which lock. Really good lock.
What is your ascertain check? Disable devices is just a base, that's what it is. There's also an escape artist check.
There it is.
Which,
Also very good.
is that acknowledging how to escape before, or is it...
That's more
you
for
just
if you're like
escape routes.
grappled, or like if you're in like manacles and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Disable device is more locking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take 20 to try to unlock this.
Classic.
Okay.
Take 20. And Grok will try to sharpen the end of the wood.
I don't think anyone knows what you're talking
It's
about.
basically a stick.
Trying to use the crab legs to like
Stick.
shave off little bits at a time.
Stick. Also, on the since it's a tab and used as a slab, Grok can actually just shove it against the stone until it's sharp.
Okay. Also, so you can know, you don't have a shirt on anymore, because
You took your armor
you
off.
took it off. The only thing that you're noticing is that the little hole connected to like your lower abdomen area, you don't remember how it got put on your body, right? That's the weird part. You do remember that there is one item that, even if they could take it off you, you can choose when and when not to summon it, which was your reader. So that is a device you can just potentially operate anywhere, assuming that it has little to no correlation to the box that they've pulled apart.
So you're saying there's a door in my cage?
There is a door in your cage.
Can I try and break it?
You can feel from like where, like basically the two hinges align together, and I mean there's a good layer of rust on it, but
Yeah, I'll just start shoulder charging into it.
okay, sure. Yeah, sure. Just make a strength check for me.
Not amazing. 14.
You half unweld or you break the latch that connects these two doors together. So at some point you feel like very loosely this door or section of the wall made of bars could come off. And the moment you do, from that right tunnel, coming from your right and to your left, you see the kind of heat form, this mass amount of body heat emerging from some sort of big lumbering form. Man, I told you I can feed you, but I don't want you to leave. And you hear boom, and like the iron bar that you were just about to straight up bust out of, because it would have taken one more hit. It's pushed back into place. You hear the snap of other metal pieces. Like maybe he just broke it even more. But at the same time, I think as your arm was pressed to it, it kind of like smashed. So your hand is like, you know, for a small moment, not the best. You guys begin to obviously hear from that side about 10 successional bangs from down the hallway to your right. Okay, Grok, what were you doing before?
What was it before?
I think there was something we were doing with you before Jake wanted to do an attack.
You're sharpening.
You were sharpening your thing. That's it. Okay. I mean, by the time you go through the sharpening process, you hear down the far hallway to your left, like down deep, and you hear. This was in Orcish, so you definitely
go fuck yourself, pissant.
Lumbers away to your right. Well, that was definitely Cornell.
Okay, we're getting out of here.
The time we have some years. Like, I don't know how long you're gonna live now. Like, you're looking weird.
You realize there is a shadow cord, like our audio cables, that is connected to your abdomen, where that amp port is. A shadow tendril connects to the bottom of your device. But as long as you had clothes on, it seemingly never appeared. Now that in the darkness, you can clearly see a black cord connecting the bottom of the device to your stomach.
It's on charge.
It's on charge. Portable.
Yeah.
And Grok will basically be in a meditative state while right next to his head for a bit.
Totally. You've got information. You realize you. Do you think there was any tight place where you would have put the map before? Because you did have a map of your island lands, but is that in the box? In the box. Okay. So you guys try to communicate. You realize that, and I mean, you start to talk a little more. After the first two interruptions, you hear loud thumpings, and then on both sides, Grok to your right, Cornell to your right. Two different directions, the sounds of these thick steps get to the point of the tunnel, the edge. Cornell couldn't see it anyway, but Grok, you see the very, very edge of potentially that ogre that you were having a conversation with before. Stops at the doorway, turns its back to you, and just looks. You don't exactly know what time of the day it is, but this could be a shift thing. It seemed at one point the hallways around you were unguarded, and now there is someone here. Obviously, potentially by your aggressive comments.
I'm gonna take some. I'm just gonna start making a lot of noise.
Okay.
I'm starting throwing shit at bars.
I was gonna say scattering bones everywhere. I mean, you can make a total mess.
Good.
That's a lot of boat. You had that many boats? Oh my!
Half a horse head just hits the bars.
There it is. Oh my god.
It's just a skull. There's no flesh. Pick dry. It's really gross. No eyes either. You hear a little rocket.
Use it as a distraction to open my door.
Do you?
I take 20. Minus 10 because I haven't got thieves' tools. Is it a simple lock?
It is a simple lock.
I unlock it.
Okay. So your choice of the moment you were fiddling with it. I could say you were using little pieces of thatch, but the greater fact is that as you try to even putting your thin, tiny, delicate finger into the lock, you realize that it's not like rusted shut. It's rusted in place, and with like a small amount of basically friction and small amounts of pressure, small single like taps, you're slightly kind of like sliding it out of a heavily rusted in bar. The bar's shrunk because of the rust,
Right.
but
They're fucking stupid, I forgot.
you notice that the moment you go to release the door hinge, you immediately hear like an aged door, no oil, no grease, nothing. Just at a tiny Grok you see at that sound, because it's pretty loud even though you don't try to intend it to be. And just the tiniest movement, the big ogre, you hear two steps. turning around to look at the hallway.
Really bad distraction not going on anymore.
It's still going on. That's just a different hallway to that ogre. The one that's guarding you is much closer. That's the footsteps you hear.
As I'm throwing stuff,
Yeah.
I'm looking for a FEMA.
Okay. You're like examining it and then just
Yeah.
throwing these pieces. Okay.
I'll search the dead guy, see if he has like a knife or something. Or like a fucking.
Ah, yes, this man is
I there's like
check
shit.
his
I love it.
prison wallet.
If you want to take 20, because or you can make a roll.
He's got 2 paper clips on him.
I
Okay,
recommend
take
using
20.
this brand.
You investigate the body. Just don't
Sure,
know.
I'll do it.
Famous the
There is
strongest
nothing
by
on
the
there,
way, and the longest.
but a half-emptied flask. Half filled.
Sniff it.
Strong.
Man, I feel really silly having this table chair.
That's like 12 in here.
It is a club.
Sit.
Yeah.
Just
I'm gonna
sit.
get Grey Club.
What's so great about it?
Burns.
It's a long.
It burns like straight moonshine.
Oh, this is way better than my last place.
Sick.
It's so strong. For a moment, you fall up. You hit the side wall because you just fall unconscious while standing, and then you.
I just have to kill like a dozen people or something for this. Great.
You're being happy as you hear it.
Yeah.
Bing, bing, bing.
This is great, guys.
Why did he do
You're just like he's standing at the bars now, just yelling at you to stop, but doesn't. You're hearing like kind of a sound that's like
As soon as
stop.
he
he
starts
close
to
enough that I can
yell,
grab
I'll
him?
just grab the top off of the skull, throw it towards the bar.
You find a femur, but I'm gonna say
Yeah.
you choose when to throw that piece.
Yeah, why don't you come in here, make me?
He's too far away from me. Grab him.
He's too far away from you. He's maybe 15 feet to your right
As
on
I
their
open the door,
bar.
I'm gonna very politely say in Wolfish, "Excuse me, sir." To the guy as he's moving.
He's just
closer.
holding a ball chain. This is the one hallway. This guy is half the prison troop. Like one guy's dealing with it rough. Your end, super nice.
Good call back up.
Yeah, this is in Wolfish. Excuse me. Why are you holding us here? Prisoners.
Hey man, you're not supposed to be. Just does the lumber floor,
I'm
just
like
passively.
holding the bars, pretending that it's not up.
Like you're like sideways. You've opened the door and the bar's
No, I
outwards.
close it and
Okay.
I have it. So
Slightly.
If I like pull it back in, will it just latch close again?
The moment you like put it in and you got to open it, you could see the latch wouldn't shut again. Like it's rusted now
So I'm just gonna
inside.
put it there and hold it there as if it's not locked.
The thing lumbers forward. You see it like scratches its nose on a bit of jutting spike from its shoulder.
Hello, sir. Do you know what?
Elf speak.
Yes.
Oh,
It's actually a lovely language.
Hold.
Get down to it. Do you know why we are being kept here?
yes.
I'd generally like to know the reason I'm being held prisoner.
We are trying to find a worthy test participant for our new orc chief.
Oh no.
You're trying to find a new chief in your prisoners.
No new test.
Dragnut the Destroyer. He died. Man. Dragnut.
And now you need a new leader.
He drags nuts.
D-R-A-G-N-U-T.
So-
imagine it, it's an orc. So
Yeah, man, he died, man.
does that mean you'll need like a smart commander or someone who can hit people alone?
We need to make sure our new chief can survive against maybe the horseman or the orc man. I don't think you'd leave, man.
We're not. So you're just gonna keep us here to fight a bunch of orcs or one orc or?
Yep, at the elder's request, he wants to test out a new fighting force against Torgod.
I don't know what that is.
So when's this fight going to happen? Are we going to be here for several weeks, or are we going to get weapons?
I think
Our
that
belongings?
you would get weapons when fighting, yes.
All of our belongings.
If you...
Laughing at the
It's just one good polite conversation, the other one is...
I'm just laughing at this over like the
You see there are full on tears, like, there's no control of his own emotions.
Oh, you pathetic walk.
You, make an intimidation check, an antagonistic check.
I'm trying to anger him as well.
Yeah, well, in the light political state of our environment, man. That's your conversation.
16.
16.
Can I? Oh, I can do this.
Slams your whole bar cage inwards 3 inches.
Is he putting his face right up to the bars?
No, just the hand. Just slam. But
Can I
like, but at some
provoke
point, you
him?
need the hands.
I want to provoke him. It's a thing I have.
Sure, yeah. You're yelling from a side, down a tunnel. He's pretty close to you.
13, and DC is his hit die and his wisdom modifier.
Okay.
Plus 10.
Wisdom modifier plus 10.
Hit dice, or 10
Also-
plus hit dice plus wisdom.
Okay. So 5 minus 2
I just beat it. Cool.
Also 13.
Yeah.
plus 10, right? So plus 5 minus 2, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I just beat it. Cool.
He's also...
He doesn't speak your language.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm just fucking laughing at him.
I think that also means he's shaken? Because my intimidate worked.
Technically that's true, but I'm now just hostile with him.
You see
No,
another.
I mean, my intimidate worked.
True.
You see another one come down the hallway
I
from
provoked him
your
to
side.
attack me.
Ricky.
Does he have anything on it, like near his waist or anything?
Like as he's like hitting you with the hands, there are pieces of him that are like straight up just a different material. When he bangs on the thing, you're hearing flesh that's hard, but you're also hearing like an iron or glass that's hitting the cages. As he puts his whole hand into the bar and just, in like a kind of broken common, just stop.
I'll grab his arm.
Can I grab his other arm?
He's no, you're way too far away. He's pretty big, but you can feel that there's something like wrapped around his arm, either like a bandage or like a braided something.
It'll just be like a quick grab his arm.
Down his arm.
And then if his body comes with, I'll just try and sort of stab him in the eyes.
I'm not going to say you are able to even functionally get both eyes in your new kind of state.
I'm just.
But I would say you poke out one eye. You straight up. You with 2 fingers just straight through. He hits the back wall. You rip and hear a few scattering. It kind of sounds like ball bearings, but if a little lighter. Kind of like circular small seashells that would be formed into beads connected to a type of large, kind of like mule cords, a type of band that wraps up his arm, not specifically just around the hand. So a thin bit of cord. Maybe it's like a hemp, or maybe it's a really natural cord with a bunch of little beads.
Cool.
Hits the back wall, and then you see there's another guard that got very close when all of this loud noise started to happen. And he points to both of you, because obviously you're laughing at him and he's a baby. And the other one goes, Rice, no rude, no food.
I just like jingle my fucking half full flask again.
You tap it on the metal bars.
Yeah.
Where's good rental?
Oh, you want it? Come get it.
You see another one who's much bigger, just and the one who's crying goes down the corridor and leaves. The bigger one, not actually bigger, just like is acting more with force, sounding louder with his footsteps, moves right in front of your bars, smashes them with the war part of his hand. You only get it. His only hands. His head is not closed. Smashes his hands against the bars.
Grab both his hands.
Okay, so you reach in, you reach through the bars, grab his hands.
And I pull him closer.
Okay, make it a contested athletics because.
You mean kind of strength?
Strength, yeah, you're right.
They've got
rolled the same.
plus 37 strength.
17.
I got a 7 plus 5.
Fucking pull him so he stays.
He has a 21 strength.
Let go of his hand, I put my hand on his head.
That head has wedged your door. You wedged it out. He's solid. You and him
Wait,
solidly.
his full head went in his neck.
No. You've like cracked the temple against an iron bar.
Oh, nice.
What has happened is the iron cage that you outdented has been completely re-indented and pushed in even more because of the weight of an ogre.
That's fine. I'm just going to use both my hands to grab his head and rip his jaw off.
Okay.
I stuff my hand in his mouth and they just fucking rip.
Okay, so you only have one attack action per round.
True. So
which means he gets to make another grapple, but then if not...
Oh, he can escape, that's right. No.
You have to roll, I think. Or is it CMD?
It's against my CMD?
Beautiful. And just strength against CMD? 20? I got a 1 less, so 6 plus 5.
Or you can use escape artist, which is definitely very good.
I'm sure
That's proficient.
You hear him with the hand that you grab, but then you let go of the hand and you grab his head. He's got one like iron mace, and he slammed the side of the bar of that iron mace against the bars to like try and push his body back.
No. I stick like all 4 fingers in his mouth from one above his jaw and fucking rip, like try and tear it off.
Okay, just do. He does get an attack roll for 2, but I was gonna say just
go
do.
ahead.
Don't.
Strength, attack roll.
I was gonna say just do. What's the damage for the thing you did? Where it's just like your strength. D3 plus strength.
D3 plus.
Not on attack. Which is what it is. So
yeah. Okay. I just use my.
I would roll the hit, but we played it out.
D4 because we don't use D3.
Yeah, D4 because
D4.
What the fuck?
I mean, you've used D3 earlier in the episode. It's always D4s. Fuck D3.
I'll grab his big ass thing and I will fucking shove it in the corner and shove the corpse that's in my room over it.
At this point, that door. So your all points are correct. Unfortunately, at this exact moment, the bar has gotten the cage that you're on has an extra 5 to its difficulty class because you've wedged it back into place.
That's fine.
And with the force of an ogre. So at this point, there's no door. There's just the bars. These doors were meant to be ripped out by the ogres, pushed you in, shut back in. So with an ogre, its face is just like leaning against the door. It is not conscious. It is probably at the verge of dying. The fact that it's standing is only because your hand is holding the back of its, bony skull.
I'll make it that its head is like, how you head
Leans
stuck between
in.
two like
Yeah,
railings.
so its shoulders are kind of half slumped inwards. How do you try to use it to escape? You can hear poof, poof. It's working. It's taking time. But right now, even at this side, there doesn't appear to be anyone else coming through.
I wasn't expecting to escape today. I was expecting probably in the future.
Sorry, I can't sit still.
Fine, okay. I'll back up to the very back of my room and fucking charge at the stuff while he's still barely conscious.
I mean, yeah, this will kill that ogre regardless. But it is this final blow backwards at him. So yeah.
Screw that guy.
Yeah.
Screw that one guy in particular.
Charge, attack, whatever.
Not great.
2. Plus item of whatever it is.
Charge attack would just be your
CMD?
your melee.
Melee?
Skin color changes.
Okay. 9.
Well, if you're doing an attack, it'd be your melee plus 2.
11. Against the fucking boss.
Your horse body hits it, and then you fall unconscious.
But your AC is reduced.
Really? I have 21 HP.
From the exhaustion. I'm assuming you mean.
Oh, sorry. I did not think you had that much HP left. Okay.
My rage heals me, so I healed, I think, 6 HP total from when I was in the dream world.
Trading world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm assuming there's orc left in this conversation. But if not, it's...
No, he wasn't. He was. I mean, there was a lot of sound going on down there.
It's
normal prison stuff.
But at some point, I'm just gonna yell out in common, Murky, Cornell, shut the hell up! I'm trying to negotiate right now.
Yeah, so it's
What's
like
dead?
a comfortable political situation inside of the turf's den.
I saw they. Oh, never mind. I didn't see this.
Oh,
no, yes, they were talking about it.
Loki, you're just dazed. Your body hits the bars, and then your brain hits it first, and it's just a little too much force in the wrong position. I've done that in rugby. You become dazed for 7, 10, 15 seconds, and then that body slumps back down.
Mistake. Grab the fucking wall and just dash it.
The crew would escaped. He chased me in here. Get me out.
Don't look like the same exact being, by the way.
Like this guy walked. This guy walked half a foot away from your cage. You changed shape. The doors didn't open behind. Make a deception check. Bluff check.
He changed color.
He changed color.
He's a completely different person.
It's completely different.
Bluff or performance? If there is performance, then you.
That's a 12.
Bluff.
All bluff.
There is performance, but you have to be trained in that.
You're a bluff.
It's okay. Yep.
What's this guy's?
Like normally, like the bluff is only to say that, you know, to get this thing. So 12. Trying to have somewhat of a conversation with your character, then turns around, sees. Oh, that's so cool! You changed color. Oh man, I've never seen a horse like this before! Yeah! And you see him just stomp away in pride. Oh, tell the chief! That's the last thing you hear.
Wait. As he walks in front of Grogsoul, this is not gonna work, is what we call him.
Yeah, his back is now to you, and you can leave the cage.
Is there anything on his? Does he also have the keys stashed?
That's the same guy that left your front side. So yeah, so now the back is facing you. The back is facing you. There aren't keys. The front was where the keys you saw. You'd have to try and get under his legs and in front of him.
Yeah,
as he turns away
I
from
think it's
me,
not invisible.
he goes to the side. I'm just gonna open the door and walk out and try to take the keys from. Oh wait, never mind. I'm not going to do that. Then I forgot.
Really?
Yes, it makes noise that I forgot about.
Oh,
Anyway,
damn. Good to have you here.
left. Well, good.
I'll kill him.
I guess.
For Cornell, the final two resounding thuds, and then you see the ogre with one eye shut and his hand just against the wall that you've been slamming. It's fully gone out and dislodged, but just this one hand, the other hand isn't covering an eye, but you can see there's half a wrap around it, still blood coming down from the side. Why are you angry when you're smaller? You don't hear in English. You hear it in broken common. So like you might hear, "Why are you small?"
The whole conversation.
Do you want to know what it's like to be blind? I'm gonna keep trying to break
He's
through.
not. Oh yeah, you keep trying. I'm not gonna say that it goes too well, but make a fort save just for endurance sake. It's gonna be against his. I rolled on that 19 with the same.
Pretty good.
broken
24.
Die. 24. What is his con? His con is also it's plus 4. Never mind, plus 7. So he's 26. Holds you out, and I'm not gonna pretend like you don't keep trying.
Yeah.
So for the next 6 hours, the resounding continual thudding of iron bars, and this occasional, "Why don't you stop? Reese! Man.
Let that hand go. See what happens.
No! Where are you?"
They move his friend's corpse out of the way.
It's still slumped inside of Moki's cage, and you see Moki's horse body is like trotting sideways a little bit, trots back into the right. I mean, that ogre's face is just like hanging in there. The jaw is
It's
obviously.
like one of those, like, how far I have to get you out from, like, between two stairways.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that head shouldn't fit between the two bars.
Its half roads are definitely broken.
It's half crushed inwards, yeah. You ripped off the jaw part, that cheek folds inwards quite nicely.
Oh, this boss.
I'm gonna say 1 full day passes.
Then before the end of the day,
Okay.
Grok under the bed starts drawing ruins on the wall.
Right.
Okay.
That's casting explosive ruins.
Sure.
Classic.
Okay. Sure.
I
To what each at the end of this day? Sure. Let's run through it. What do you
give up after 6 hours. I take my 2-hour long rest.
Go back to it.
And then I go back to it. Yeah.
I'm going to
I'm going to leave the ogre alive just stuck in the bars.
That's the breathing sound you hear.
I
from
will
it.
take one of his eyes.
Cool.
Just one.
Just like with the fingers, just
Yeah,
dig
just
in.
Horrific screaming.
That's the only sound you hear from
Yeah.
its unconscious form as you pluck out its eye.
His little mace type thing going underneath the corpse in my room. Or it's in its shirt, or I'm hiding it.
That is gross. There are remnants of a shirt that has been majorly burned by acid. So it's kind of like tatters of cloth that you can scramble into something.
How much cord was it from the little wrist thingy?
I would say close enough to maybe because it's like a big arm. So just to wrap it around, I would say 10 feet of tiny thin cord.
That's a great idea. I'm going to strip the ogre to make myself a bed. He's close.
There are pantaloons.
Perfect!
Just what I need.
And half of that you realize there is a metal belt that is fused to their skin, which this
Only their skin?
which this underclothing is sewn to.
Oh, great.
So basically, they had these underpants sewn on with metal rims to their waist. So you can rip off that
22 to rip off.
Yeah, ripping off the black fabric. The thing is because, as I described, the sewn metal to the skin, you don't pull the metal, get all the fluff.
Yep, nice.
And you keep trying, you come back, so most of you wake up again to the boom, 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 boom. And it sounded louder before. Now when there's a hand pressed to it on the other side, it's kind of half muffling that ringing through the absorption of a giant ogre mitt. If you guys...
I'm still acting.
You want to still do something? Yep.
Yes.
The explosive runes?
Rob is
Okay.
going to put 2 more explosive runes, and the last one's going to be saved for infernal healing.
Nice. Okay.
All
just on one wall?
Is that every time I draw it, it just stays there permanently until it's triggered or it's dispelled.
Okay.
These aren't proper long rests, are they? They're like half.
This, from the first night in the cage onwards, it is.
Okay.
Because you're being fed enough soluble material, you're just not able to do anything.
This isn't the third level version. This is the first level.
Okay.
So it's only 1d6 damage, meaning I need a lot of these.
Yeah. So you're beginning to cover that back wall, and you're talking about the back wall that has a peephole into a cavernous space. Cool.
Which is under the bed.
Fucking love it.
So it's gonna take a while.
Love it. Okie dokie. Well, it'll take a little while, but also, to do it stealthily, that can add a little extra time just to do it when they're not always looking. But at the same time, when they walk past you and it's the one moment where you're like, I'm so tired, I forgot to listen out for them, they don't mind you carving into a stone wall. At least that's what it looks like to ogres. It's not,
Most of the time, Grok is just sharpening the wooden stool.
Okay.
To make them think that that's the thing is doing.
I'm going to, after I think 12 hours of charging, I'm going to sit down cross-legged with my back to the bars.
Okay.
And then
In defiance.
In my lap, I will start with the coil. I'm going to try and make 2 bone daggers.
Yeah, okay. You want to do a craft check for me?
Sure. I only have craft alchemy.
I mean, it's bone.
Sure.
I can give it to you.
I'll do that, but I'll maybe like half my alchemy.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
So pretty good. 19.
I mean, this isn't a normal situation. Even in your former prison situation, there weren't bones spare.
Yeah.
They were very sure to clear the stuff that would make a demon stronger.
I didn't have my arms free last time.
You didn't have your arms free either. And I mean, despite you've still got technically the manacle there and on the foot, you even feel like rough edges on the manacle where grinding some of that bone into groove edges, so kind of like a saw blade. That's possible, but never before have you needed to be this desperate with material, and luckily you grabbed just about the right thing to start. If you rolled bad, Dagger might have had 1 attack total.
Yeah.
This thing, it's an orc tusk with the.
I'm assuming it still has the fragile quality to it.
Yeah. Does fragile mean it would break instantly, or just
fragile means if I roll a natural 1, it becomes broken, and then if I roll a natural 1 again, it completely shatters.
Cool. I love it. That's perfect.
But yes, probably. But it would take me like 20 minutes anyway.
Could I give you...
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I mean,
That would
you
be
technically
fine.
have like, I would call them pants.
Yeah.
However, the pants that you wore are now stretched too far for you. You can wear them like you would wear a jumper around your waist. And then there's also some of like the fabric you tore from the sleeve of the ogre to work for that. So there's some clothing, even though realistically you're bare chested, and just to imagine Cornell covered in dirt, and it's not muck. It's just like dirt that sifts from the ceiling. It's sand and gravel on the floor that's stuck to your skin, and your arms still not changing, and your feet still aren't changing, and your weird half-webbed hand still won't reform, won't recede.
I'm gonna kill this ogre.
Is everyone?
At the end of it, since I've learned that I haven't said a cantrip though, which would be helpful. Grok goes into his. Doesn't have any tools. He just goes into his skin. He starts digging at it. And suddenly a small tool forms, being a small. What is it? Lockpick comes out of his hand.
And it is that dark metal color that matches the ship.
Slides it to Melia.
Okay, like there isn't even under the bar. There is literally, he puts his hand out through the bar, rotates his arm left, and then just basically drops it at the edge of your bar cage, which obviously was open. Reach it. It is a thin metal bar.
If I try to leave my cell, a guard will spawn, and I will not be able to help you.
Like a file.
No, I can leave my thing at any time. It's just the door is creaking. It will spawn like that if I do it.
Start putting your spit onto it.
What?
At this point, by the way, you've hit the next morning. So, and for the sake of this,
How long will this last? A few minutes.
the first actual long rest you achieve, you all level up.
Cool.
Lovely.
The sustenance you receive unknowingly feeds you to a point where your redeveloped senses are.
Do we all roll health right now?
We can all roll health now if we want to. I mean, Felix was already skipping into kind of like half of the second day, but that's what we're going into. So you guys roll HP now, and we can end the episode in 10 or 15.
7.
Do we reroll one?
Yes.
2.
Oh, you called it. You never say it. You never say what you should. Have you rolled already?
Yeah, I got a 4.
4 on the HP for, is it D6?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
7 on a D10.
7 on the D10. 2 on a
We got a
D12.
plus to a stat, right? Oh, I have a D10.
Oh, yeah,
2
we
on a
have,
D10,
we have
okay.
a +1 to a stat.
Oh, a plus 1. Sorry.
And Sis Boy.
Or
4 even split. Coming down the stairs of day 2, your bars are shut, but there's kind of a surprise when you see at your front there appears to be a kind of like you wake up and someone is at your cage as you're obviously trancing. You're kind of aware of its immediate shadow covering your front space, but thin pointed ears, not as long as yours. It's resembling more of like a half-elf, with skin that looks to be a tinge of grey, but mainly almost matching kind of a deeper, darker tan of yours. A little bit of grey. And a kind of like semi-well-dressed for, being in this group of creatures. You see there is like clearly a large overcoat, one you can imagine Cornell would wear. Just kind of like large,
filthy,
dark
disgusting,
dark brown.
Shut.
It is. It's covered in dirt and in grime.
No,
Don't be.
organs dripping off it.
My name is Cullis. He speaks in common to you. I've been set down here to. Did you? What's her name? Did you say? Was there a woman here like a day ago? Her name was name's Isla.
I don't know.
No.
A day ago there was like a muffled womanly cursing.
Which direction did she go? Did she go back the way I came?
She got taken. It was like a loud thing. What are you doing here?
Yeah, thanks for the information. And he puts a small but like large piece of meat over one of your bars and then just walks away. It walks past your cage and leaves. And you can tell everything else has been orc or ogre. This is a slender humanoid. I mean, you're all half asleep at this point, but you're looking at and doing your carvings on the wall.
Okay. Probably. Want to meet? Sure. I don't think this stuff is poisoned.
It's well salted, but it's basically raw.
There is one of it. No, it's a chunk of meat.
It's.
I'm gonna cook it up. Well, fair enough.
You hear as Grok somehow with basically, I'm guessing this is your like plasma.
Yeah, it is the flag.
Wait, you can still cast spells?
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like a kind of
Little
light.
dumb.
And small amount, what you would say is like, basically, I mean, to us, it's a decent amount of meat. It's like an entire rump steak, but like half the size, so cut in half, thinner, longer slice, but like a rump. So a good hind cheek. It's tender. It's slightly thick. It's actually
I haven't even eaten half of whatever they've given me. What do you know about the culture in this region?
I know that they're all Alps that produce some sort of weird color.
If you want to do, do you have local for this area?
I don't know any local. I just have history. So I know the general.
Okay. I mean, if you want to do, yeah, you could try to do history. Continue your conversation. I'll just.
Well, if you want me to do a history check, give me some more background information.
There's potential. You rolled a 14 before.
24 for 16. Yes.
Okay.
That's all right. I'm supposed to put a rank there. Whatever, I'll do it later.
Oh, you can do it later. The point is that is more than good enough to give you some information. In that, some good in the bad. If you heard the ogre say to Cicero, who speaks Orcish, that you are in Turf's Den, it's the furthest place from Torgard in terms of area where you are right now. The only information you know is of Torgard, of a town that was on the verge of dying and had been given voluntarily. I know this is a bigger word for your world, but a magistrate from Kings Bay, a basically elected official, came to the furthest eastern land, the only functional town. Your captain reminded you of you've docked there maybe twice, ever. But at least they told you that the people who left Kings Bay to come here were actually a good kind and only came to this place to try and help it, raise it from its wider, more religiously fanatic region. You know that there's never enough guards in that place to actually defend it properly from orc raiders. So oftentimes you would just bring people there that were either half orc, anyone that was willing to get paid for jobs of service, they would go there to Torgard to try and learn to be a soldier. You know they have some essential peoples in that town, like a blacksmith, a tanner, a carpenter, people that came because a magistrate, aka a person of Kings Bay who had power, came here, brought a semblance of a functionality to a town that basically didn't have it. It's not a lot of orcs. It's about 50-50 with orcs and humans. There are 2 people who run the town, and I will give you those names in private. I'll just text them to you. None of those names have been mentioned recently. But one of the people who runs the town, you assume, is the person who volunteered from a noble house in Kings Bay. One of the people who runs that town. But then there's also an elder of Torgard that is actually one of the last remaining people from that place. The rest are basically refugees that have struck deals to live safer in a land where this is the only town that is safe. And you know, you're a very good distance away from it. In fact, you've never taken the time to journey that far down in an inn, which means you have no idea the time scale between locations.
Rest do we get? 2.5.
Very good. Where was the god they were?
I chose never to bother to learn that kind of thing. Probably a mistake.
Okay, well, they have like half elves. You just have to walk around.
Yeah, it's a mix between humans and orcs around here.
Great.
And being the most aggressive, known for raiding and pillaging the most.
Got that?
After I set up the detonation to blow up my door, they would break into myself in pieces.
What? What are you talking about? Oh, if you're gonna blow up your door, why don't we just leave?
I don't know, for the last 4 days I've been setting up from my back wall.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you doing it. Why are you blowing up the back door? Why aren't you blowing up the front door? So are we not gonna get Cornell and Monkey?
Yeah, I was hoping that would break through it eventually, because it's weakening the shit balls.
I'm a little out of my own. And these people are talking to me.
Halfway through the second day, as you guys are talking, you slowly begin to hear from above you, boom, 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 but it starts really quiet. And slowly you start to hear just not the sound of the volume increasing, but the quantity of sound grows above you as you are whittling and tying your knife together at the edge of your 12-hour run. That small bits of dust begin to sift through the roof as the ground begins to boom, 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 the roof above you vibrating with the sound of deep drums, many, many, many drums. You see as the bars in front of Grok are blocked. One of the ogres, its back faces Melior's cage and your cage, Cicero. Places its hands on the front, the other side of the wall, where the half-buried form of a suit of armor with red fur. It pulls the bars off of the wall. You hear it, obviously, Orcish, which you don't think you can understand. Come here, you furry thing. Smells so sweet. Begins to drag out what you maybe thought was lifeless, but has been for 2 days a perfectly still suit of armor with a head of kind of like a fox. It's actually it's an armor. Its shoulder plate reminds you of the mask you found in the former place, an Oni mask, a mask of a large, bearing teeth face with large tusk-like fangs out of the side of its armor plate. I mean, you guys were stripped of armor. This thing wasn't. It begins to be let out of the room. Drum beats continue. He seemed at first like he was being dragged, and then could kind of start to walk. It seemed like the feet started to move, but like he wasn't even conscious until he got ripped out of the room. The half furry. I mean, it kind of looks like a panda face. Kind of cute. Please. And now it's just you. As far as you're aware, you are the only two in this entire quarter of the prison.
Has the ogre left yet?
Yeah, he left with the panda, fox, raccoon, furry. And especially for you two, yeah. Your side. There's like a 5-ish hour period where even though like you'll beat the cages, at that point, like when you were exhausted and it seemed like it was an even time, they just left. And then there's 5 hours where your door is heavily fucked up, no one's guarding it.
Okay.
And you're just like waiting while you tie up your things and like.
Someone take the fucking mangled guy.
I'll use the bit of like leather that we ripped off, or a bit of skin, whatever it was.
Yeah, you definitely got a bit of both. You got skin and you got a bit of like material.
I'm gonna make a bit of a back sheet, just like a little holder for the big femur of an ogre.
You know, the sound against the bars isn't as loud. As soon as you put your ear up to the hole where you've been carving all the runes beside, you're hearing the drumbeat coming from that cavernous chamber 10 feet separate from where the room you're in. And as you can look out through, your dark vision gives you sight to the fact that now there are people marching into this cavern chamber with torches, illuminating it. I mean, it's like at odd angles, so you're kind of just seeing the shadows of people walking past with light. You see a furry creature dragged into the center of a dark chamber that you see people begin to kind of, orcs with torches, 3 on each side, begin to kind of line the walls. And you, with one eye, can see that there is being dragged forward this suit of armor and the top neck of orange and white and red fur. Something else has been forced to fight before you are.
Does this race look familiar?
Boom, 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 boom,
I've seen a whole bunch of cultures. I wish there was a culture check in this game.
Well, yeah, kind of is. Like, I would even give you history, but I'm just going to say no.
Is there a culture check?
Not on this race.
Religion.
Or nature.
Or nature. All of the things
Culture's really local.
All of these things I would give you. The location of this.
I have a point of local now, so it's +8. Alright,
Lovely.
let's go.
Gotta level him up.
I already gave you your answer, but you can roll.
You know what? I know this
I
now.
know about
I
this
know
now.
this now.
Yeah.
I'm
You
intelligent.
always know it, yeah.
That's sad.
Unfortunately, I have specific words from a player that says you don't know shit, so you can fuck with him. Not
Good
me.
on him.
So no, but
I like that.
but
I like that about a guy.
your place did hold catfolk, creatures with hair.
Okay.
The face is kind of in with small resemblance, you know, a kind of a snout, kind of a cattish features, but a bit wider cheeks, a bit more puffy cheeks, and a large kind of beautiful dimple chin.
So it's definitely from another continent.
Wait, did you set him free yet, or no?
Just doing it, yeah.
Let's try.
I failed to do it in 1 round, so now I have to take a minute.
So you take a minute, and those drum beats above you keep, and this sifting the beginning of how you set out and actually escape, because at this point it does seem very plausible. We will return to that with episode 21 with the 5th member of the party, as he will be the first to face the challenge that only Grok can see. Until you explode that wall, and then you can just fucking rain hell.
Yeah,
So, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Good damn, guys.
Can't wait
See
to
you next